Welcome to Storm King's Thunder, where me and a bunch of my nerdy-ass friends get together and we like to play Dungeons and Dragons! Ah! And the wagons. Tonight we are on session 59 of our campaign. When we last left off, the Lords of Nightstone had gathered their nerve and their steel to head to Azkor, the dwarven ruins in the far north of the Anarok Desert. There they hoped to corner and take down Imarith, the Doom of the Desert, the blue dragon who had infiltrated the Storm King's court and nearly managed to steal the Wormskull throne, instead only making away with the ruling scepter that Hecaton needed to claim the throne. You guys had gone there and, in fact, discovered an unusual door, with some writing on it that said, "The One Night Stand." You guys ventured in to find it an interdimensional tavern manned by a tiefling, by the name of Sly, who was, very pleased to tell you about his interdimensional tavern that hopped, every day into a new plane of existence. It had been quite some time since he'd been back to Faerun, and upon hearing your invested interest in taking down Imarith, he wanted to offer you a hero's feast for 1,000 gold. This feast made you immune to fear, gave you advantage on wisdom saves, and made you immune to poison. Plus giving you for real though, plus give you a solid chunk of temporary HP. You guys did pay the man for the feast, and in doing so realized that you were missing 1,000 gold and a diamond that you should have had.
We gotta go get him.
You found out, you came to the realization that fucking lizard man that y'all gave the bag to smuggle onto the Grand Dame had dipped his hand in and taken a little more out than he probably should have. After departing from the One Night Stand, you guys met up with your giant allies, Sarissa, Uthor, Harshnag, as well as 2 other storm giants, and made your way into the amphitheater of Azkor. You were swarmed by gargoyles and bombarded by trebuchets, and you and the giants fought off dozens of enemies and managed to destroy both of the trebuchets in the encounter. Orlecto, however, one of the storm giants, was loyal to Princess Mirren and betrayed Sarissa, trying to kill her in the chaos of the fight. Imarith, the Doom of the Desert, and the Dragon of Statues emerged from her den beneath the sands and immediately blasted you guys with a very impressive lightning breath that did 88 damage to those of you who failed to save. This put quite a few of you in double-digit territory. It was a terrifying way to start the fight. It was an intense and arduous fight as well. Multiple people dropped to 0, and some of you dropped to it quite a few times. Davos managed to get a double whammy crit, 2 crits in 1 turn, dealing over 115 damage. Bergen and Pandora, Pandora utilizing the ring, managed to keep the party alive and kicking. Z counterspelled Imarith's counterspell to stop Bergen's heal, which was a clutch moment. Hecaton actually came to y'all's aid, appearing in a burst of lightning to save his daughter from Imarith's attack. Orlecto, seizing this opportunity, slew Sarissa before her father's eyes, and Hecaton decimated him in retaliation. Ark was almost crushed by Imarith's claw, before managing to fight his way out and revealing dragon wings wreathed in this brilliant multicolored flame. Pandora, with her arrow of dragon slaying and sneak attack, managed to carve out a pretty good chunk of Imarith's HP too. And both Bergen and Ark bounced back with back-to-back nat 20s on their death saves to come back into the fight, just barely hanging on, before Z, with a multi-elemental fireball, managed to finish Imarith and pretty much decapitate her for all intents and purposes. You guys made your way within Azkor to find the hoard that was within. You collected 4,000 gold as well as several magical items. And Josh rolled a 1 to unleash the spirit of an ancient mummy lord. However, Z recognized that this mummy lord was a similar type of spirit that he had come into contact with previously, and with a 21 persuasion managed to convince the mummy to tag along, unlocking the necrotic element. You guys returned the ruling scepter to Hecaton. Davos healed Sarissa and she used her scroll of teleportation to teleport back to Maelstrom. Davos and Z, because of that, both of you know the sigil for Maelstrom. I lost my spot when I looked away. You guys returned to the underwater city of the Storm Giants to see dozens of Jotun of all kinds, including many that you had met while fighting the various Jotun lords, had gathered in this place. Hecaton announced that the lords had done more than anyone, you lords had done more than anyone to keep the Jotun in line, and as such he would take your counsel on restructuring the ordning. You guys agreed to drop the Cloud Giants by 1 rank, to drop Stone Giants below Hill, and to raise Frost by 2 ranks. To where now it goes Storm, Frost, Cloud, Fire, Hill, and Stone. Thus, Hecaton retook the Wormskull throne with the ruling scepter in hand, restoring the ordning and divinely reinstating his rule as Storm King. He also gave each of you the Storm King's blessing, which, the primary perk of which is that all of you are recognized by all Jotun as the equivalent of Storm Giants. You are automatically deemed higher ranking than pretty much any giant you meet. It also manifested a unique ability within each of you. Gulbrand got the Stormcaller feat, where he can use the Lightning Bolt spell. Bergen got Defibrillate to when he picks people back up to give them a little extra HP. Davos, you got a custom Storm Smite, as well as a power-up to your Javelin of Lightning. Pandora got the Lightning Arrow feat that she can use once a day. Ark can use Lightning Breath whenever he chooses to use a breath weapon attack, and Z unlocked the elemental nature of electricity, gaining his 6th element total. And with that, my dudes, any comments, snide marks, rude suggestions?
I'm blanking.
I didn't try to seduce the dragon at all?
You only tried to put your dick in the sand twice. After the second time, I think you learned.
It was like the dude where I just kept, thrust and just
He wasn't
Devin, who's now watching.
You did, however, chunk like a third of her health or something, so...
20%! No, you did
20%.
You did a good chunk.
It's because she rejected my advances.
Of course. As we pick back up, you are within the Court of Maelstrom. For those of you who cannot see, we are over here above 15, where all the names are, surrounded by the leaders, for the moment at least, of all the Jotun. In this moment, you guys have just had this little bolt of electricity rush through you as you've been giving the Storm King's blessing. And Harshnag approaches you guys, and he says, I thank you, lords, for restoring the ordning. Perhaps after this battle with Bane, we can finally rest a while before we have to stop any more of my kin from running rampant. I also appreciate that you raised my kind within the ordning. For very long, Frost Giants had been in the bottom half, and I did not have much sway among my people. But with this, I hope to lead the Jotun into leading lives integrated with the humans, rather than conflicting with them. About this moment, Hecaton actually comes up to Harshnag and places a hand on his shoulder and goes, Harshnag, you have done well to aid us, and my people. And I would like a moment to bend your ear and ask you about reconsidering the position of Frost Jarl. Harshnag gives a bit of a shrug before he and the Storm King seem to walk off to discuss Harshnag potentially taking over for the Frost Giants. Seems to be a much more level-headed leader than Storvald, at least, so there's that. You guys actually are rushed up upon by Zephyros, who is delighted and doesn't seem upset at all that the Cloud Giants got lowered. He goes, No, I understand it entirely what you had to do. After all, I imagine Count Thulin may sulk for a while, but from what I hear, he did try to get an entire chess set to kill you, so honestly, he can only expect so much to happen.
Tit for tat.
I also hate that Bergen's not here, because Queen Neri approaches Bergen and thanks him for his endeavor in reviving her, and gives him a 1,000 gold diamond, a small token to repay the diamond he used to revive her. Devin, if you'll drop that in chat. That is
1 diamond, 1,000 gold.
1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Before you guys head back to Nightstone, is there any other business you would like to take care of here? Anything you would like to ask about or follow up on?
So, am I correct in the understanding we all get to make a cloak?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
in a little bit, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I was gonna... I put that on my character sheet. I was trying to make sure that's okay.
If it's already there, yeah, you're totally fine. I've already put, I think, Davos and Arcs on there. But,
Yeah, Mark on there.
You need to grab me a little +1 AC.
Get a little boost.
I also
Boost,
just to get
boost.
it out of the way now. Unless no one is opposed, Goldbrand's going to take the Ring of Protection that we have in our bag for his last attunement slot for another +1 of AC.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah, I'll be at 18 at that point, which is about as high as I'm going to get, I imagine.
Damn, Arc's higher than goalie?
Yeah, dude. Goldbrand is lots of
It's
hit points,
stacked.
low armor class. Yeah. That's how
Alright.
barbarians are big sponges, but easier to hit.
That is true.
Right.
For Davos, unless you would like it, and I think you're choosing the harp instead, I think we'll give Bergen the thing of prayer beads.
Do it.
Does that sound cool, Davos, or do you want to try to make a bid for
No,
that?
that's fine.
Okay.
That
Cool.
man's the best cleric in Faerun. He deserves to be able to dole out all the heals.
In fact, we're going to do this real quick. Devin, do me a favor.
Oh, God.
Roll 5d20.
You have to ask right now when I don't have roll
What's it?
20 on a thing.
Well, whose fault is that? That's your
I
fault,
do
motherfucker.
not see a cloak in my inventory.
I thought I put it on you. I did it with two people. When I get done to the section, I'll know for sure.
You said 40-20?
5d20.
Well, fuck you. Here's
Okay, so one more. That's fine. Okay, so, let me jot this down. So, the spells on the necklace that Bergen gets, one is a Greater Restoration.
You rolled 2 13s.
Two of them are Greater Restorations. One of them is a Bless. 7. One of them is a 2nd level Cure Wounds.
Alright, hold on. 2 Greater Restoration, 1 Bless. How many Cure Wounds?
A 2nd level.
Actually, there's 2. There's 2 2nd level Cure Wounds, 2 Greater Restorations, and 1 Bless. And those are the 5 beads around his necklace.
2 Greater
Good.
Restorations, a Bless, 2 2nd level Cure Wounds. That's pretty good. That's
No, it's a good little mix. He didn't
Those
get the
are-
Planar Ally, which is like what lets... It's like a fucking 7th level spell. It's stupid. To use it as a bonus action when it's normally a 10-minute spell, oof, that's fucked.
that's yikes. I like it.
I was worried that was going to break my game. So I'm glad he didn't roll a 20, or a 19, excuse me. Excellent.
Of course
Okay, so
that
Bergen
didn't.
has that. Of course not. Anything else you guys want to do in Maelstrom before you head back home?
I feel like something.
So, we don't know that you mentioned during the recap. The party doesn't know that Orlecto was aligned with Princess Miriam.
You would gather that was his motivation for it, yes. There was a bit of dialogue
I guess.
exchanged between him and Sarissa. Sarissa, if nothing else, would mention that before he struck me down, he said, "Long live Queen Mirren." It was the last thing I remember before he struck me.
Do you want us to kill her for monies?
For mummies. He goes, "Oh, I don't know if my sister was involved, to be entirely honest. Orlecto, he has a history with my sister. But it's,
They were roommates.
They're doing the hanky-panky.
I can't say for sure if he was egged on by her or not, but if you would like to interrogate her, I would love your insight."
Ooh, I love interrogating.
Oh. Yeah, y'all want to go talk to her or no?
Yeah.
Look, we'll go shake her down.
Sure.
Like a mob.
Sarissa and 2 of the guards lead you to the sisters' chambers. They're actually interconnected, Mirren and Nims. They do meet you sort of in the communal chamber in between, and you guys are welcome to interrogate Mirren and or both of the sisters.
Just
I
going-
think we should tell her what Sarissa said and be like, what the fuck is up with that?
No, I just think we should casually mention Orlecto. Just be like, hey, so you and Orlecto, wink, wink.
At this point, Mirren doesn't know he's dead. Okay.
Oh, cool. We can use that to our advantage.
So you ask, we'll say Barbara initiates this. Pandora brings up Orlecto and goes, Haven't you done enough? You've ruined my reputation within court. You come here bothering me while I'm awaiting investigation for something that is not my fault. I was enchanted. I did nothing wrong.
That's not what we're like. Oh, I don't want to say that actually. Goldbrand's not a good liar.
Yeah. I like where your mindset is, though.
Like, dang, way to beat around the question here.
We have.
I will not entertain silly questions that have nothing to do with me. Orlecto...
It has plenty to do with you.
Make a free insight check, Barbara.
Yeah. My wisdom's -1.
13's not bad. You see she's getting a little flustered. She's doing her best not to make like a outright like storm cloud above her head as she is prone to, but you can see a little bit of a spark like brewing up there. She's not enjoying the interrogation by any means, and seems to be trying to divert you and get you to leave.
Oh no, man, you can't get cats to leave. You know, like when you don't want them the most, that's when they're up your ass.
Yes, you open the door. They can't make up their mind if they want to go in and out. Yes, no, we don't have cats here actually. We have sea lions, and they're very similar actually.
All right, gang. Do we want to just flat out not accuse her, but do we want to get?
I can't figure out how. I have an idea of what Goldbrand might say that's not a lie, but I don't know how I want to phrase it.
Goldbrand could also tell somebody else to try to, a strategy. If you want, I don't know who has the best deception score, but...
Mine's +7.
+6.
Just in general, Goldbrand will say, assuming she can't hear him.
We do a little huddle.
You can whisper, yeah.
I see. Something along the lines of, make her thinks that Orlecto has ratted hers.
Oh yeah,
He's ratted her out. That we already know what's going on. She just needs to tell her side of the story.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Mm.
Okay.
But Goldbrand's
How do you want to do that, Bob?
bad liar.
Well, I guess I want to
Just say Orlecto.
just be like, I guess
I
I'll
would
just
leave.
tell her that Orlecto spilled the beans, and I know it all. So, if there's
Make-
anything she would like to clarify with her story,
Make a deception check.
all right.
I can taste the tequila in there. Well,
Whew.
Yeah, tequila.
okay, 23 is very solid. She rolled in that one, so that's going to expedite your...
Love it.
So, what did he say? He's lying. He was bewitched by Imerith. He's likely following her will still. He's confounded and enchanted and confused. He doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, you said that without,
Do I believe
knowing
her?
exactly what he told us.
Well, I'm sure he told you nothing but lies. He's enchanted. He's mad.
What if he said you were beautiful? Was that a lie too?
Well, that's one beacon of clarity in a madman's mind, but you can't rely on that.
Does Goldbrand believe her? Does he really think that? Does she really think that he's bewitched?
Insight check. No, she can't beat a 27. No, she knows exactly. You get the sense that she knows exactly what Orlecto was doing, exactly what he ratted her out, quote unquote, for. You gather she had a direct hand in this. With a 27,
Spicy.
Mirren is taking the heat in this situation. Right, you gather there's more here.
Ooh. Oh boy. Okay, we gotta shake her down some more. What are we gonna do?
Now is likely your only chance to tell your sides of the stories, and I would make it the quicks. We tend to
It
judge
doesn't-
with prejudiceness.
Prejudice is just the word you would use there, but okay. Mirren, she confesses in hopes of getting a lighter sentence. That she had asked Orlecto to strike down Sarissa and make her next in line. She says that Sarissa is the youngest. She does not deserve the throne. She has done nothing to warrant it, to earn it. She's the least prepared of any of us. She's the least willing to act.
Oh man, this is some juicy
She's also the least
treason.
willing to kill her sister.
Oh. We got some ice cream there for her birthday.
It's funny. It's funny. Nim chimes up like, "I have no desire to see her dead."
Woo! Woo.
Nim,
Oh,
the
is this-
third sister.
This is in front of all these people. Good, so perfect.
Well, no, right now it's just the two sisters. Well, the three sisters and you guys, and a couple of guards.
Sarissa's with us. Cool. Well, as long as the giants know, that's all. I don't know. We can kill her if they want, but that's
Sarissa
all. I just want her
shakes
to
her-
admit it so the giants
Yeah.
knew about it.
Sarissa shakes her head, and goes, "No, she will stand trial like all Jotun are entitled to. Although I do appreciate it, this has been rather damning evidence. I knew you coveted the throne, Mira, but I did not know you would go to such lengths. May Strone Moss have mercy on you." And with that, Sarissa begins to leave the chambers.
Also, your boyfriend's dead. No. Well, I just didn't
Oh yeah. Casually
You fuckboy got fucked.
Killed the shit out of Orlecto. Well, you know.
Mirren starts to... At first it's a thundercloud, and it begins to almost immediately shift into a torrent. And with your passive insights, at first you think it's a sign of sadness. That she is mourning the loss of Orlecto. But Bergen, at least, would pick up that she is mourning her chances of being queen gone. She cared nothing for this man. She used him as a pawn. But promising him that he would be her Storm King, that together they would rule the seas, filling his head with lies so that he would do whatever she asked for her. She is
Good
a
for her.
redolent... That's Devin's kind of woman right there. But that's the gist of what you get from that interaction.
Oh man, I hope she cries all night.
You guys have an opportunity, or excuse me, you guys have to get back home to Nightstone as the next step to getting closer to
So,
where you're going.
did we get all the gold out of the thing that we could feasibly get out of the Dragon's Lair?
For the 4 hours you spent there, yes, you
Okay,
did.
yeah,
You
I
got
remember that now.
$4,000, I think, altogether.
Okay. Heard.
Plus some
Stuff.
fun
Heard.
shit.
I got
Yeah.
you.
How do you guys get back to Nightstone?
Can't we go to the thing? Can't you do the things?
Sarissa's,
Yeah, the thing.
she's no longer the Storm Queen, so she cannot, but
I'm talking to
Hecate...
Z. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I guess I could make the teleportation portal. It just takes a minute.
can't you
Wanna do
use theirs? Don't they have one that they've used?
That's to teleport in. It's the Maelstrom Sigil. You can't use that to jump to another circle.
Oh, and you may not have the spell slots to let us jump 2 hours.
He does
Uh,
have the spell slots
I
to jump
do.
to yours. Yeah, I
And-
think you
and
have
I-
1/6 level.
We could ask someone else if you wanted to. One of the Zephyros would have it.
My assumption is we're going to get a rest while we're in.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you know that it is very early on the day before the encounter, or the battle, so you know that you're going to be there. You'll have at least one more long rest. Most likely 2 long rests before the actual combat.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to use it. Whatever. I'll do a teleportation circle. Draw a bunch of elemental spinny winnies on the floor.
Yeah.
Anyways, Z makes this sigil rather quickly. He's getting rather adept at it. And it's funny. I like to think like you take a stone and like crumble it within your hand, and it turns to sand. And as the sand pours out, you use it to draw out the sigil, and it's all one fluid, long motion, and the sand never runs out. It just keeps feeding through, whether it be the sand of the Mummy Lord coursing through your veins, whether it be the heart of the Zorn that's within you. You manage to, in 1 minute, fully write out the sigil with that. And as you open your hand to sprinkle the last gem dust on, with a brilliant flash, all of you, plus Harshnag, because, you know, he needs a ride, teleport back to Nightstone. So you set your circle within the keep, if I remember correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if y'all were going to do this or the word of recall that Bergen had, so I had both prepped. But you all appear within the keep, and it doesn't take you long to realize that it's just before dawn. It's almost a little odd being back here so quickly. You guys left less than 8 hours ago, and since you've been to Azkor, Maelstrom, and an interdimensional tavern in between. It's been a busy day. The keep is relatively quiet. The only thing that you really hear is the sounds of Felix and Suzette, your cook and I don't want to say servant, housemaid, who are working to prepare breakfast. You're in close proximity to your beds, and that has the result of most of you just feeling like you could collapse at any moment. And I imagine most of you head to your beds pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
Sleep through most of mid-morning. Right.
You guys, those of you who have beds downstairs crash. The rest of you make your way upstairs. And Davos, just before you get comfortable, a thought pops in your mind. It's always like that. End of the day, you lay down, you're finally in bed, and boom, you got to think, oh, I got one more thing to take care of. You've learned from your previous harvests, oh, mighty dragon slayer, that organic crafting supplies should be preserved immediately by the crafter, or they risk rotting.
Oh, shit.
Plus, it's likely going to take you a little bit of time to craft them, or for your crafter to craft them. So, if you want those cloaks, you got to take them now.
Oh, piss. Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, who do you take them to?
The organic matter preserver, the taxidermist.
The organic matter preserver, yes.
Is it the gnome we found in the dudes in the pocket of?
Yeah, it is Alistair. I want to see mostly if anybody knew the name.
I'm outside his front door with a boombox.
Yeah. You go through the town, and it's winter. It's frigid. Again, sun's not up yet. It's very chilly. The only light you really have is the torchlight. You go to Alistair's home, which doubles as a shop, and you bang on the door. And after a couple of moments, you hear the lock slide open, and he opens. And he goes, well, "It's awfully early. We don't open for at least a couple." Oh, Lord Davos, you're not dead. That's marvelous. What can I do for you, Lord?
Need to preserve these. Gonna turn these into some cloaks.
He takes it's the membrane of the wing that you guys harvested from in between the bones, and he holds it. He holds it and he goes, "Oh, it's exquisite. It's rather unusual, and you need these. But my lord, the battle is only what a day away. Tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken."
Sounds like you need to hurry.
He looks down at the fabric and he looks up and he's got this fire in his eyes almost, and he's like, "I swear, Lord Davos, I will make you all the finest cloaks ever hemmed. I envision all 6 of you standing before your armies in your matching verdant green dragon armor, clad in these electrifying cobalt cloaks. The very sight of you will inspire your allies and strike terror within the hearts of your foes. I will get Sylvie and Lady Daphne to aid me. Daphne in particular will be very helpful in preserving the membrane's magical qualities. And thankfully I know all of you so well that I know precisely which cloak you would like. And this is the point where I'm going to ask you guys, which fucking cloak do you want?"
I took a
There's...
Yeah, cloak of protection.
Same.
Okay. For expediency's sake, all of you can go ahead and add this to your character sheet. I'm going to assume that Bergen's going to take the same one. So I'll add that to a sheet for you, Devin, because I don't think you could do that.
Indeed. Thank you. These are pretty cool.
Yeah, I do.
Goldbrand
Yeah.
got 2 AC out of this raid. He needed it.
I will let you guys know, there is also the fact that these do give you lightning resistance. I forgot to make a custom item for it, but as they are made from the parts of a blue dragon, they do give you lightning resistance, just like your armor gives you poison resistance. Fantastic. And they do require attunement. Fair
Those
warning.
saves and stuff, yeah.
Which means he's going to have to give something up. Bergen, I'm sorry.
He, he's got pretty high AC, doesn't he? 20?
He's 19 right now.
19. Maybe we
If
should
he
give
takes
him
off
that
the...
ring. Oh, he
Well,
takes
that also
off
requires
what?
attunements too, I think.
He just takes something off of whatever. What does he have?
He has
His
his
shield, his
shield
mace.
of arrow catching, his mace, his ring of winter, the pearl of power, and the prayer beads.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
let
that
him
ring.
choose if he wants the prayer beads or that cloak, but I'll put it on his sheet for now. Alright. You leave the excitable gnome to his work.
Should just gave this man his magnum opus, and then went to sleep.
Oh yeah, this is going to be his masterpiece. Oh, come on, that's not what I want. I'm sorry, pardon me. I'm trying to do the tippy-tappies. Fantastic.
Clickety
Um,
clacks.
Yes, the clickety-clacks. As you leave the excitable gnome to his work and make your way back to the keep, you hear a familiar voice call out. Davos? And as you turn, it's a little dark, and it takes you a moment to find her with her natural dark camouflage, but you do see Helena holding a small handful of pink dried flowers. And for those of you who do not know Helena, I dropped a picture of her. I don't know if y'all have seen her yet. Dark hair, pale skin, slate gray eyes, and a rosy complexion, wrapped in a dark fur shawl to keep off the chilly morning. When she sees you, she drops the flowers and rushes to you, throws her arms around your neck, and like, "Ah, you made it back! Davos! Oh, thank the Morning Lord you're safe."
I always come back.
Oh, well, yeah, that doesn't mean I don't, it doesn't linger. So you killed it, the dragon you were going after.
Yeah, and it wasn't Goldbrand who did it. I can tell you that.
So you did it, my mighty dragon slayer.
I did.
Roll a deception check.
Any mess with him? Because I want to call him out on this bullshit.
No, Pandora is curled up in a box somewhere within the keep, passed out. Oh, she rolled a 5, so she believes you. She goes, I knew it. Yeah. She squeezes you a bit tighter and like, I'm so glad you're okay. I was just going to, oh, my offering. And she turns back around and begins to pick up the pink flowers that she had dropped. After a moment, she gathers them. And Rose Campion, for protection. Every morning I take a bit and burn it at the east wall at dawn. Savor the silence, say a prayer to Lathander for you, and I don't know, when the sun comes up, I know that you're okay. Because dawn wouldn't come if you didn't bring it.
Exactly.
It's the opposite.
I know you're... What was that, Erickson? What was that, Brandon?
Shut up, Barb.
Yeah. She can't, you know it. She goes, I know you're probably exhausted, but do you want to catch the sunrise with me? You should be bringing it any minute now, right?
I'll bring more than that.
Oh, no.
Of course.
She rolls her eyes a bit.
Smoke a little
go
pink
ahead.
flower.
Yeah. She guides you up the stairs to the east wall, and you see that along the wall, one of the stones is blackened, where she has done this several times before. She goes, looks like we've got a moment. Do you want to play me a tune while we wait?
Of course.
What do you pull out and what do you play? You don't have to actually,
Just
have
to say, what do you pull out and what do you play?
the same thing, ironically enough.
I don't want to say dust in the wind, but oh shit.
You can always sing me my song if you want.
Yeah. Hey there, Helena.
Okay. Hey there.
It's a new one.
What's it like in Nightstone City?
Exactly.
Do you pull out your lute?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you're going to do that or if you're going to break out the new harp.
No. Oh,
That's it's up to you.
do the loop.
Okay. She goes, I always loved your playing. Now, you're not trying to charm me now, are you? Because, I should warn you, as a half-elf, I have a natural resistance to that. But I do have disadvantage against your charms, so there's that. You guys play and joke a bit, and, you sing a bit of her song and revel in the morning light as dawn begins to break. And she sinks her head into the crook of your neck and sighs a breath of content. She goes, it's nice that you're here now, but I can't stop thinking about tomorrow. Promise me that you'll come home to me, that after the war is over, that we'll both be here to watch the sunrise?
Of course.
Do you believe that?
Uh,
Well, let me rephrase this. Does Davos feel he's confident that he's going to return, or does he feel like he might be fibbing a little bit?
I know that if I survive, that is definitely my intention to come back and watch every sunrise or whatever. But do I think I'll die? I don't know. We're kind of batting 1,000.
You're right, though.
So, like,
I'll tell you what. Roll a persuasion or deception check, whichever you're feeling in this moment is close to
I would say
Closer to
persuasion.
the
Like
truth.
I wouldn't want her to worry, and like even if I did doubt it, so it would be
Yeah.
persuasion.
Come on, man, we're all gonna die.
She cracks a smile and she goes, "That's my greatest wish, just to have every sunrise with you." And she lights the dried flowers on fire using one of the sconces along the wall, and you watch as they blacken and eventually degrade into ash before she hops up and, "All right, you need to rest up. Come on, I'll walk you up to the keep."
I grab her hand and imagine me and you. I do.
And you and me. Oh. All right, you guys all get a long rest, so feel free to hit that button. I'll do it on Bergen sheet. I think I took all of them off already, but if you guys would just make sure that your extra hit points are now taken care of.
Aw.
Yeah, it's already gone.
Yeah, motherfuckers. Which, by the way, if y'all had not gotten that,
Dude,
I don't
Jesus,
know.
no.
the
I don't wanna
last
think
fight
about
would
it.
have been rough. All right, you
Fine,
guys
it
all get your night's rest, and you wake up. It's about noon on the final day before the battle. Z, you awaken and you feel uncomfortably stiff. Your joints are kind of locked up. Your arms rigid and unbending. If you'd like, you can try to make a medicine check to see what the fuck is up with that. As Devin frowns in consternation.
I failed
You
medical school.
You don't know what it is. You don't know if you slept on the bed funny or something, but you are very uncomfortable. Like it's almost like you pulled something in your sleep.
He's just come to expect
Well,
this
I'm
one
first.
after a fucking adventure.
You're 30. That's the diagnosis. That's what the medicine check would tell you. You're not really sure what to make of it.
Nice.
But it's very uncomfortable. Take a point of exhaustion.
Wow.
Okie dokie.
As soon as you get up, you exhausted
Same though.
every day.
He's not here, but if you'd like to, you can ask Bergen if he knows what's up with that. It's like you're getting up and you're trying to start your day and you're having a tough time. Like,
Yeah, I will do that.
Devin, if you will do me a favor, roll a medicine check for Senor Stonespire.
What's her medicine check you say?
Senor Stonespire.
Oh,
I need Spanish burger in my life.
Suspicious
18.
Spanish burger.
Excellent. Suspicious Spanish burger. It's the same meme, but it's just like a sombrero on top of his head. He checks you out, and he tries a lesser restoration. Nothing changes. He tries a heal. No effect. He kind of looks you over, and he takes your fingers, and he tries to make you clench a fist, but there's a lot of resistance. And he goes, "Gee, see, I don't really know what to tell you, but I think, if I didn't know any better, this looks like rigor mortis. This looks like what happens after somebody's been dead for a few hours. They stiffen up. They won't move right. I don't know what the fuck is up with that."
Burger immediately says
Anybody-
prayers. That fuck. Does his Hail Helms.
Z also shrugs. He's like, I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Well, if you know anybody who might know a little bit more about it, you're welcome to go check. But unfortunately, I don't think any my magic will help you out at this point.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll go have a chat with our favorite teleportation lady.
Safine is actually not in the
Oh.
town at the moment.
Sorry, I got them mixed up.
No, you're good.
It is.
Creepy lady, as Bergen would say.
Yes.
Tabitha.
Tabitha, goodness gracious.
You begin to make your way toward the graveyard, and as you're coming down the steps, again, everything just kind of hurts a little bit as you're moving. It's very uncomfortable to make your way across the town. It's not impeding your movements to a noticeable degree, but it's definitely uncomfortable. And you hear this, as you're kind of grappling with the gravity of this and what it might mean, you hear an unfamiliar voice stir from within you. "When you offered me this vessel, I thought it would smell nicer than mine. Yet this reeks of rot, and it's far too crowded in here. You gather this is the Mummy Lord that you've recently taken in.
I tell him sorry. Is there anything I can do to help you out? Now, you know what? I'm actually gonna ask him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain. I got you out of the chamber, which was your primary request. If you don't like it here, I'm happy to help you fulfill an objective and let you go somewhere else.
My people have no such goals or aspirations, just the continuation. Me living within the tomb that Ascor had become was a rather dull existence. A dreadfully boring way to spend eternity. At least, this way I get to see things that I never would have otherwise. But no, I find that you are in worse shape than I initially realized. I had smelled the rot on you within Ascor, but I mistakenly believed it was your passenger poltergeist who reeked of it. What will happen to them? To us? Once your body festers and swarms with maggots?
I explained that as far as I know, you'll be allowed to pass to the other side, whatever that means for you, if you want.
And what happens to you?
Well, I don't think anybody here knows the answer to that question, at least not yet.
Well, you better find someone. And it's about that moment that you arrive at the cemetery behind the Church of Lathander, the Temple of Lathander, excuse me. And you see Tabitha tending to the graves. And when she sees you, she stops what she's doing and makes her way over and goes, well, looks like you boys managed to give Emworth what for, huh? What brings you here, Z?
Well, it seems that since we last spoke, things have progressed a little bit with my condition. I've also picked up a couple of additional passengers. And I honestly need a check-in to see what state I'm in, to see if there's anything else I can unlock memory-wise, or to see if there's a way to delay what's happening to me.
She, her eyes glow a faint white, and she sort of does a couple of laps around you as she's assessing the spiritual state of your body. She goes, I've been trying to do some reading on this, but I have to say you're unprecedented. In fact, it'd be rather impressive if it wasn't certainly fatal. You need to find a new body. Something to house you, and all of them too, I suppose. I don't even know where to begin with that. That is incredibly powerful magic. Reincarnation is no simple feat, yet alone with your passengers in tow. I have no idea what might have access to that level of necromantic power.
Mummies.
I only have one idea, but I'm not sure
What's-
if I want to talk to her right now or not.
She goes, well, yeah, you don't have much time to figure it out. If you've started the process of rotting, it's inevitable. And no offense, the smell is a little noticeable too. She reaches down and, oh, I imagine you have some type of breast pockets or something. And she puts a few flowers in there and taps on it and goes, pockets full of posies, Z. I don't know what's in store for you, but you're carrying a lot. And I don't know if that's accelerating, you breaking down, or if this is inevitable, just with you refusing the Raven Queen. Sooner or later, you're going to either have to have somewhere to go, or you're not going to be able to.
Okay. I'm not really. I guess I'll convey this to her as I sort of think out loud that it might be time to see if I can schedule an appointment with the Raven Queen and see what kind of new deal we can strike.
Because, well, you could certainly try communing with her, but I don't mind to tell you that's not a very common way to connect with her. It's typically when the veil between life and death is at its thinnest that she makes herself seen to us. I'll do some thinking, some talking with some people. Once we get the Battle of Bane figured out and taken care of, those of us who are left will do our damnedest to get you worked out, sure.
I'll look up at the top of our tower off in the distance, and I wonder how close to death I would be if I just...
It's only one way to find out.
Maybe later. Okay, anyway.
Okay. At this point, all of you lords have awoken, eaten, and are gathering near the town center. Within the blossoming shards of amethyst, you see the Nightstone, slowly shifting within place in its own little orbit. You see Donovan, even at this early stage of you see Donovan, exhausted, yet unable to sit still. And as you approach, he throws up his arms. Lords! I'm so glad you've returned. I suppose the doom of the desert has met their own doom, eh? As much as I'd love to hear all the details, I'm afraid we haven't much time for pleasantries. Z, Orin and I managed to make sense of 3 more segments of the stone. And we're so close to cracking this, I can taste it. Can you look at the final 3 segments we have left? See if we can solve this today.
Alright, how many checks do you want?
Well, there's a couple of things we'll do. I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to let your friends give you some aid. If you guys want to do any bless, inspiration, guidance, anything like that, now is the chance to do that.
Give him a good pat on the back.
I can give him guidance. Also, before I give him guidance, we'll have another. It doesn't matter. We'll have another long rest. I need to roll my wheel or woe, but let's do some guidance first.
Doesn't Bergen have bless
Gotcha.
with the prayer beads?
I just checked that. Yeah, he has 1 free use of bless a day. So he will. You're gonna make 3 checks. So we'll let Bergen we'll let Goldbrand help with this first one.
I also have my inspiration still from the previous fight, so I'll keep that in my back pocket unless it's an emergency.
So you get to add a D4
Good
to
to
this.
remember.
Okie doke.
Okay. Will you drop bless into chat as well, Devin, if you can, from Bergen sheet? While he's looking at that, so this first one we're going to have you check, Goldbrand's actually going to help you with it, because it's in Jotun. And despite Goldbrand not being literate, he somehow knows how to read Giant. Not fully literate, we'll say. So for this, Z, make an Arcana check. Goldbrand, you can make a Wisdom check.
Okay.
And, of course, you can add on that guidance of a D4 when you do that, Z. 24, excellent.
I'll add the D4 for good measure, we'll see.
Okay. So with a 24, you finish the second line. So it started off when 6 Jotun lords wither and perish, and you've just unraveled the second part to that. Doomed to succumb to fate's most nightmarish. Doomed to succumb to fate's most nightmarish. It's incredible. Even though you're translating this from 3 different languages, all the lines somehow rhyme. It's incredible. Who would have thought? The next bit they bring you to is another bit of Jotun. So you can... Either Bergen or Davos can assist you with this and making a... we'll say it's going to be Davos since Bergen's not here. Davos, you can make a charisma check. And if you'd like, you can give him bardic inspiration or anything like that to aid him on this check.
Yes, I did want to do that. You get a D8.
D8. All right, so Z, you can make another Arcana check, and you can add a D8 to it. And
You said
will
a
make a flat
charisma?
charisma. Yes, that's your spellcasting ability, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Just a basic check.
Yeah.
I think I may use my inspiration to reroll that too.
Before you do... Oh, no, you need a 20. Yeah,
I can hit it, so I'm gonna try. Okay.
Excellent. I'll even say you can hold on to that inspiration that he gave you, because that, I think, is good for up to, like, an hour or something.
Okay.
With a 23, you figure out... This was initially part of a line you didn't have anything on. They've unraveled the first part of it. You're going to unravel the second half. And I'll read you what they get in just a second. But you get the line, bringing with them an era of rebirth for all ages. Or, excuse me, 4 ages. Bringing with them an era of rebirth for ages. For the last and final check, this one's in Draconic. And so, Ark, you're actually going to be helping out. Ark, you may roll a check of whatever your highest mental stat is. Wisdom, intelligence, or charisma. And Josh, once again, you may make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Another 23. Let's see what Ark gets.
19.
19, that's solid, hey! Alright, okay. It takes you a little while. This one's a little trickier. But it's almost because it's metaphorical and it doesn't quite make sense at first. But you unravel to end all bloodshed by smothering war. To end all bloodshed by smothering war. So you've completed these 6 lines, and here is what they say together, counting what your allies had unraveled. When Lords 9 lay claim to the stone, unravel its riddles and make secrets known. When 6 Jotun lords wither and perish, doomed to succumb to fates most nightmarish. When dragons 5 fall of each and every hue, shall new vessels be provided to make them anew. Then transient gates shall open for 3 generals of hell, subverting the druids' ancient ward and spell. Then shall return the souls scribed on hell's pages, bringing with them an era of rebirth for ages. Sacrifices to be made, a payment thus swore, to end all the bloodshed by smothering war. And I will be so sweet as to paste this into your chat so you'll have a copy of the Nightstone for your internal suffering.
I'm very thankful because I tried my best to take notes as you were talking, and I was not typing fast.
No, I get you, Doug. I'm actually going to drop this in the game notes chat. It's all in yellow because y'all unraveled it all, but it also tells you what language each line is in for what that might be worth. But it's, now that it's done, Donovan turns his attention to you. He goes, well, okay, we've riddled it all out, but how do we use the stone? How do we harness it?
Huh.
You said, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I assume everybody else is there, so I'm going to look around the room and see if anybody else has ideas too, because I'm drawing a blank on that.
I'm not sure we should even at this point Goldbrand thinks we should just bury it or push it in the river.
Yeah,
Sounds gross. It says make secrets known. We kill everyone here right now that's not us and we drop it in the river. That's what Goldbrand thinks about prophecy.
Donovan sort of shakes his head, but you've already laid claim to this stone. You've already unraveled its riddles. That part has been fulfilled. Removing us or the stone from the equation will not change that has been fulfilled.
We fought so hard to get to the stone.
It's true. That was a rough ride.
He goes,
Lords are still up, but who knows for how long, I guess.
well, but in that regard, six Jotun lords did fall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You-
and I don't know if we've killed all colors of dragons yet. This may be the black dragons, may be the last ones that we have to kill during this fight. So that's kind of scary.
Y'all know that
bit,
white,
yeah.
green, blue, and red have died. Black is the only one that's remaining.
Then transient gates must be, I'm assuming, partially the Fey Realm stuff. That was earlier in the campaign, but
Then transient gate shall open for 3 generals of hell, subverting the druids' ancient ward and spell. Donovan, it seems that the gates are connected to the 9 hells. Gate shall open for 3 generals of hell. I would not think it's connected to the Fey Realm. But, and again, who's to fucking say at this point?
Did you guys fight 3 demons in the Fey Realm?
we fought a demon thing, the half
Yes.
demon thing.
I'm kind of hazy on that part.
Yeah, I don't like it. So we know that his dad, the guy we were fighting, Azazel, we know his dad is Big Head Honcho Demon, a Big Head Honcho Demon.
The big head honcho David.
Indeed, the Ninth Circle.
Asmodeus, yeah.
I see.
Asmodeus.
Asmodeus!
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
the last time we talked about this, I think we decided that it could have been Amerigo, Asmodeus, and maybe Bane Darkwind was the going theory that we had potentially for the 3 generals, but I don't know. Looking back in my notes.
Yeah, it would be great if those didn't represent Merkel, Bane, and the other one, like literal representations of them. Because fuck that.
Either that or it's metaphorical, and it's Arxie and Pandora, the 3 generals, and we're causing the apocalypse.
Then
What
shall
I mean,
if
return
it's-
the souls
If it's written in the stone, is there anything
mean-
we can really do to stop it?
Donovan goes, well, I'm not so worried about stopping it. I want to harness it. Sensori was able to use this to make a new type of undead, something that should not exist in a spiritual form in this realm, given shape. It's incredibly powerful necromantic energy, and if it can be harnessed, we could use it to level Bane's army without ever losing a troop on our side.
That's some big supervillain vibes there, friend. This is
Right.
the
It really is.
when I
That's
say
like
those kinds of
Lucifer.
things.
Do you say that to
Joey-
Donovan?
When I say those kind of things, Joey vibe checks me. Yeah, Goldberg says that's a little sus.
Like, well, Are you not wanting to stop all of them at any cost? Are you not also wanting to level their armies? That's exactly what you desire. I'm doing it with less bloodshed.
I want to go out there and count how many of them I kills. It will be more than everyone else's.
Not more than your wife, from what I hear there, pal.
Will it though?
Yeah, looks
We'll
at
stop the
Davos
bloodshed
like,
by murdering Bane's army.
Davos with that quick trigger kill steal.
All I'm doing is imagine like power metal riffs to go with these lyrics. You know, like some Dragon Force, like
Some of the chuggas. Some of the win on
I want to know. The last line has me smothering war. Is there a way to avoid all of this? If we have this fight, something really bad's gonna happen. If we somehow avoided the fight, the bad thing. I don't know. That last line's really weird. I don't understand it.
Well,
He-
so
he's-
sacrifices to be made, and I'm like,
A payment thus swore to end all bloodshed. But that implies to me that there's a way to stop it beforehand, but that's very cryptic, and I don't.
What has to be said?
Either that or we have to destroy Bane's
Yeah.
army.
What is the
to stop the
payment?
bloodshed.
I'm a little afraid. A payment thus swore.
I'm gonna enjoy y'all sweating on this for just a minute, but
And what's up with the one before it too? Like, return the souls scribed on Hell's pages, bringing them.
That
Turn
makes
this
that makes it
way.
sound like to me like so the way my working theory at the moment is that we have this fight. There's a lot of bloodshed. We're literally fighting a avatar, not an avatar, excuse me, but a chosen of a god of hell. We have this fight, bunch of blood is shed, the big three, or a bunch of demons or something come through when we have this fight, and they bring a bunch of souls of hell, a bunch of scary troops with them, and shit gets real bad. Everyone's fighting demons throughout the land. That's my work.
Yeah, I expect an Oblivion Gate opening.
Yeah, there's apparently something we can or could or will or may trigger something that's going to cause the gates of hell to open. That's how I'm interpreting this.
This is not going to be a straightforward battle, like at all. I know it.
oh,
I mean, this looks like the last line looks like some sort of deal,
Yeah, like if there's maybe a
devil
way to
kind
stop.
of thing. Like,
Yeah, that's freaky.
but I
Uh,
don't know.
you-
one
you
that
say
will
that-
be made.
sacrificing themselves.
you say that out loud and goes, a deal. We know that the stone was made by the Dodcon. We believe Asmodeus and the dragon that we do not know the identity of. Are they the ones who made the deal? Did they make the sacrifice or the payment, or set the terms of the payment? And like
That's what we don't.
Like Z was saying, the souls scribed on Hell's pages shall return, bringing with them an era of rebirth. Rebirth. This doesn't seem like a sinister entity. I don't know. It's.
3 generals of hell seems pretty sinister.
Well, that line does, yes, but parts of it's almost like. Anyone who wants to can make an investigation check before I give more than I should.
Okay.
I mean,
Man, I'm
I,
real tempted.
I only got a +2, but
Meow.
How much can I bend the rules of polymorph?
Gonna turn into somebody smarter.
No, I was gonna cast it on Donovan, like with the intent to like unpolymorph him, like whatever you really are. Pow. I guess I could moonbeam him though, but I don't know that would.
I can
Dispel
moon him.
magic would do. Like a polymorph, I wouldn't let you, make that
Yeah.
work. But
I do have.
You said dispel magic. I'll think about it. But
What is it? I can see celestials or
I think it's celestial fee
I
or
think you've
fiend
done this to him
or
before.
undead.
didn't. Oh yeah,
I may
He
be
passed that
barking up-
particular vibe
I
check.
may be barking up the wrong tree. I don't think he's
What-
that sus, but there's just something about this fucking. He knows so much shit, and now he's like,
look at me.
I'm gonna just
Like-
ask him then. Like, bro, who the fuck are you?
He goes, I've been in your town for fucking 8 months now. I'm Donovan. I'm a sage from up north, near Silvery Moon. I've been intent on studying magical artifacts from the 1,000-Year War, and this is one that's had eluded many, and likely would have eluded me. In fact, it was only because you had the fragment. The fragment.
Oh
The
yeah,
fragment
isn't
is
that like a key?
It could be. We're not really sure. It's too perfect to be broken away from it.
Right.
If you'd want, we can bring it down and take a closer look.
Has anybody tried to translate the fragment?
They all have.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
y'all managed to translate it,
Okay.
and so like the stone itself, like the whole Night Stone, is made of these different triangular faces, and each of them is 3 runes combined into one single rune. 3 runes from different languages put into one. So the fragment has that same thing. 3 different runes made to say one thing. Ceaseless, unyielding death is what that one translated to. Ceaseless, unyielding death. Which is very spoopy.
Yeah, I was gonna say just put it back on the Nightstone, but that makes me second guess it.
Donovan cocks his head. Maybe it's in the different languages. The Infernal alone says, when Lords Nine claim to the stone, unravel its riddles and make secrets known. Then transient gates shall open for 3 generals of hell, subverting the druid's ancient ward and spell. Maybe the first part is the trigger, and the second part is the causation.
So then, following
Reorder
that,
this, maybe?
6 Jotun lords wither and perish, then shall return the soul scribed on his pages.
It could be. When dragons 5 fall on each of each and every hue, shall new vessels be provided. New vessels be provided to make them anew.
That makes me think that the
Sacrifice
dragons will
to
be
God.
like resurrected.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't like
New vessels provided. It's
Who's
Sac-
providing?
Ooh.
sacrifices to be made, a payment thus swore, to end all bloodshed by smothering war.
you know what smothers?
It's-
Acid clouds.
You're right. I don't know if smother so much as dissolve is the right, like, not poison clouds, acid clouds. You guys can choose to put a pin in this, for lack of a better word. But it doesn't seem like you guys or Donovan are able to riddle out any further meaning. I'm going to be the pompous DM for a second and say, y'all would have had an extra clue if y'all didn't kill Sansuri without asking her how the fuck she used the stone. Just, nope.
Yeah.
Not a necessary clue, but a clue.
Worth. I'd kill her again.
10 out of 10.
Oh, was one of the most graphic kills, like, of the session. I was very happy with it. While you guys are standing around talking, trying to figure this out, you're contemplating these words, you hear a thunderous sound. The unmistakable bellow of a dragon. You all race to the walls to spot the beast, but instead you find a familiar skyship, the Westwind Wyvern, with Tajin blowing the golden dragon horn at the ship's helm. The ship lands atop the aviary on the keep, and Tajin leaps from the ship, unfurling his platinum wings, and glides down to the courtyard to land where you all stand. He goes,
That was a bit excessive.
would you rather me take the stairs? glad
Arcanine
to
is gonna kind of like flex his wings a little bit too.
He notices. He goes,
Oh.
"Ah, well, you are full of surprises, Red Death. What did you do to earn those?"
I got beaten to death by a blue dragon.
Oof, that sounds about right. I'm surprised. I never quite pictured you the religious type. My wings were bestowed upon me when Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon God, chose me as his champion. It was that very day that my scales shifted from gold to platinum. Wings on a Dragonborn are incredibly rare. I've only ever seen one other such creature with them. And unfortunately, I was forced to kill her. Devin's face is... Tell me, describe exactly what happens when these sprouted.
See, as soon as I went down, I was engulfed in a flash. Colorful chromatic fire. Everything else was kind of a blur after that.
He cocks his head a bit. Well, if that is true, then that's a sign of a very powerful Drake's magic indeed. I'm curious. Demonstrate your breath weapon on me. And he takes a few steps back and pats his chest.
Very well.
Go ahead and roll your fire
Spit in my
damage.
mouth.
Gross.
Ah, hit me.
Why did you say that?
Definitely had that kind of vibe going on.
Go sit in the
Solid,
corner and think
okay.
about what you've said.
Devin's right. Do exactly that. The fire blasts over him, hot, searing, yellow, orange, red. And he cries out, again! Do it again.
Ooh,
All right.
pretty good.
I'm actually gonna hit him with the lightning this time.
Excellent. Go ahead. You shift it again to lightning damage, and it washes over his scales, and you gather he's resisting this to a degree. Like, he's not taking the full brunt of the lightning or the fire. Could be because of his nature to the dragons in general, but he goes, "Don't hold anything back. Again." Do another.
All right. I'm gonna kind of roar this one out, so it's kind of a combination.
You bellow, and yes, that's it. Dig deep again. Use your fourth charge for me. Poof, poof. Excellent.
This is like
You
the
were,
Ranger kind of thing, man. Like, damn.
You keep That's me taste of your breath, Dovahkiin. As you're again like gritting in, like it's getting to the point where your talons are like digging into the dirt, and you're actually being pushed back a little bit just by the sheer propulsion of flame shooting out of you. And as you expend this last burst of flame, your fire comes out in that same multicolor burst. Reds, greens, blues, purples, violets, all of it swirling around in this fire as it washes over him. Actually knocks Tajin on his ass. And this one seemed to do the full fucking, he didn't resist any of this. This was the full fucking punch. And as he's on his ass, he goes, "So it is true. You have been marked by a dragon god." And about this point, Nissa, who is the white-scaled dragonborn of the Western Wyvern, has walked down the steps, and her goes, "The question is, which god?" She comes up to you and sort of gives you a look up and down as she circles you and goes, "I do not sense an evil presence within you, so I do not believe it to be Tiamat. And yet there is no great divine sense either, so it is not of Bahamut." Goldbrand and Bergen, y'all have a high enough passive perception to where you see her just glance very subtly at Tajin. It's a very small movement, but it's meaningful. She continues, "Very curious indeed."
Is there something you're not telling us?
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
Nissa?
That seems kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Nissa sort of looks at Tajin, and Tajin, the only thing we are certain of is that you carry great potential, Arkanox. You have the true heart of a dragon, and I look forward to fighting alongside you tomorrow.
My eyes go wide, and I say, shall new vessels be provided to make them anew?
I will neither confirm nor deny, so, you know.
Do the dragons
Did you
go
Oh my
get
God.
possessed by a dragon soul,
So
bro?
am I gonna get to re-roll my whole sheet as a red dragon, or like?
Do the dragons made of gemstones? Do they have gods?
Tajin, or actually no, Nissa will respond. There was a god of the dragons, the gemstone dragons, the ruby dragon, but he disappeared millennia ago. About the time of the end of the 1,000-year war. No body has been recovered, no one has claimed that they have defeated him, and thus we are left with this mystery of where he disappeared to.
You dragons are lots to be around. I could understand.
That's rude. Tajin goes, I'm sure whatever it is, it will make itself known soon enough. I wish you all luck. We must continue our journey if we are to get to Secumber by dawn tomorrow. We will meet you all on the field of battle. And Tajin begins to make his way off. About this time, Alistair, exhausted, comes up. My lords, that I've made them magnificent. And he unfurls these rather striking cobalt blue cloaks, each of which the interior is like lined with a silver thread where it looks like lightning bolts on the inside of it. And the outside of it is sort of a more matte, more dark, a little more easy to be concealed. And with these, you guys get your +1 to AC, your +1 to all your saving throws, which is a really huge perk, TBH. And then you also get resistance to lightning damage. Y'all don't have that now, but I will make a modified version and put them on you next week. I don't think you'll have to worry about it today. Lightning Dam Cloak. Ark and Josh, you already have one on your sheet. Everyone else can add one if you have not already. Alistair also goes, and Daphne, the scribe at the castle, said that Safine had left this for you, and he hands you a scroll, which if you open it, Josh and Davos will recognize immediately. It is a sigil, a teleportation sigil. It is not marked, but if you had to guess, you believe it's to Secumber. She's provided you with a way to get there quickly.
Sweet, thanks.
At this time, we're going to do a couple of housekeeping things. The Ring of Spell Storing right now is empty. If y'all would like to refill it, you can.
Give me another
Hell
juice
yeah.
heal.
Okay.
I was about to say,
We want to give since we're in town, like most of the troops have probably moved out, but the civilians are there, right? Could we purchase more diamonds if we wanted to load the ring with a resurrection spell? Or something similar?
No one in town would really have diamonds, per se. You do have some diamonds on your jewelry. You also have at least 3 diamonds that are big enough for that spell in your bag of holding. 2 plus the one that Queen Neri just gave you.
So, I vote either the big heal like we did, or an extra resurrection spell, like just in case we lost Bergen. Then we get Bergen back, and then
That's actually
Davos-
not a bad idea.
Davos
I got a
can-
mass cure wounds I could put in there at
Dread's the healer.
5th level. I don't know what Bergen has. That's the best heal I got.
I think
These
Bergen
slots.
has the same one, but because he's a life cleric, I think he gets to add a little bit extra to it.
Okay.
a flat 3 or 4 or whatever.
Y'all
it is.
could do a resurrection spell and then a 2nd level healing spell if you wanted to do those 2. I don't really know what else.
Now we can put in resurrection, not revivify.
Oh no, resurrection he does not know, I think. Not yet.
Okay.
Funnily enough, since you mentioned that, that's a 7th level spell. You guys obviously do not have access to 7th level spells. That is the spell that Helm channeled through Bergen to bring back Queen Neri, because she had been gone for too long for any of his magics.
I thought Raise Dead was a 5th level spell.
I was thinking of Revivify, which I think is the third
Third
level.
level spell. I see.
Um,
It only holds
but-
5 though, right?
Yeah, 5 levels of spells, correct.
Okay.
You could do Revivify on the, or should be Raise Dead, and that would be the whole ring, or you could do the Resurrection 3, Healing 2.
I think Raise Dead would get him back no matter what. Like,
What's the difference in that and Revivify?
Revivify's within 10 minutes. A
it's a
shorter,
shorter window.
an hour, something like that. Raise Dead, I think, is a
Oh
couple of days.
Those rum fucking cherries, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
Share with
it's
the class, Joey.
whatever you guys want to do, but I'm thinking like if we're gonna use a spell to bring him back, it's probably going to be like during battle to get him up, not like
Yeah.
2 days later. When we're carrying his corpse off the field if we're even still alive because he's dead.
I
Yeah.
buy that. I buy that.
That's a fair point, actually.
Big
Um,
heal then? The mass heal?
Or we can do the Revivify and then still a second level healing spell just to get the best of both worlds. Get a little bit of heals and a little bit of safety blanket in case he goes down.
I'm telling you, we need a backup because Bergen's our man. And
What's the plan, y'all?
Lost him
He's
last
got a
round.
straight heal that does 70 hit points, 78 hit points, and removes blindness, deafness, any disease.
I think that's to one target. It is a huge heal.
Right,
Is it a
right.
5th level spell?
6th on this one.
Okay, it won't fit in his ring then. It'll only hold up to 5.
Let's see if he has it at 5th level. No. Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
I vote for
Honestly-
the Revivify and the second level heal, and then we'll just.
Mhm.
You think so?
I-
I don't know, man. The mass heal getting all of us is a big momentum swing.
That
That it
is
gets all
kind
of
of-
us.
Yeah.
I guess we could still do aim. No, it's like 3 or 4. We would have to do a 3 and a 2. So it would have to be like a second level cure wounds. I can only hit one person.
Yeah, the mass spells are, I think, at least level 4. Actually, mass healing word might be level 3. Oh, that's way too much. What am I doing?
This
like you-
episode
like
of
you said,
Dungeons
Mass
and
healing word is
Yeah.
3.
Like you said though, hopefully we won't be having to raise him from the dead. Like if he goes to 0, hopefully someone, Barb or whoever has the ring, hits him with that mass healing word.
Sponsored by
Oh,
Kraken.
That,
Or
that
with-
picks people up. I forgot about that. So we might as well just put that in the ring. Call it a day then.
The big one? Yeah, I think I agree. I think it's the most efficient use of resources.
Because if
The
he's
big
going
heal
down,
or the big revive?
The big heal.
Mass.
Telling you, I'm
healing.
about to show up on Joey's
Mass
doorstep.
cure.
Mass healing, mass cure
Mass
wounds.
cure.
Yes. That's what we used last time.
if it picks people up and he's going down, then the rest of us probably aren't doing so hard ourselves. So we can all take the heals that picks him up, and then he can do more Bergen things.
More burgundy things.
More Bergen things. Classic Bergen.
And side note, I do have some heals as well, so
Which is nice.
it
Yeah,
is.
and I think
I can
Goldbrand
give-
also has a
I
cure
can-
wounds.
I can give myself some, yeah.
Yeah.
Gold
Yeah, Devin, let's go fight a dragon without me having any healing spells. Fucking green.
And
I haven't needed them
Uh,
in like 30 episodes.
this
Because
magic
Bergen
harp-
is Bergen.
This magic harp lets me control the weather, which is apparently an 8th level spell, which seems a bit silly to me.
It takes a while to do,
Right.
but yeah, the fact that it's 8th level does also seem a little crazy to me. But it amplifies it, so if there is a storm, you can like get even more out of it.
All right, guys, you fight. I'm gonna sit here and make it stop
Work.
raining for 40 minutes. No difficult terrain after the fight's over.
Definitely an out of combat spell, but yeah.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying. Like, it's such a. I don't know
It
if
is
it's because
silly.
of the way we play, but a silly spell.
So I just want to confirm this for my notes for the battle. Pandora still has the ring, and we're doing
one
the one ring, and we're doing a
Oh,
5th level mass cure wounds.
Yep.
Okay, that'll do 27 hit points. That's what you'll put on it last time, so that's simple enough. Magical items, now or never if you want to claim anything in the bag.
Yeah.
oh, fuck. I forgot about the bag.
I'm full now. Between the
Yeah,
cloak and the
I'm
ring.
full, yeah.
Okay. Scrying or prescience?
What?
Sure.
Okay. What do you want to scry out, dude?
Little help. Since, I mean, I wasn't here the last sesh. You guys have any ideas?
You could try Bane again. You could try. I would try your dad.
So,
Oh yeah,
so
that's
something
right.
something to keep in mind, because I don't think we covered this in any of the recap. We did set a plan in action to try and get some of the frontline captives pulled to the side before the war starts. That would have included your dad, along with probably some other people. So it might not be a terrible idea to check in and just see if anything has happened there at all, and if they're still there.
Okay,
Excellent point.
I'm sold.
Okay. You sit with the ball for about 10 minutes on the top of the keep. And right as you sort of drift into that state of zen, the sun strikes the ball, it blinds you, and as your vision comes to, you see your father and Akira, Kava, Sarah, and Amaris marching with him, all chained together, with one chain that leads to a minotaur behind them. They are at a forced march. This goes on for a few minutes, and nothing eventful happens. You're almost about to end the spell early when you see one of the other captives, not any of them that you know, just one of the other people who had been forced into this Levy army, drop their shackles and try to make a run for it. Seemingly, the shackles had been loosened, but this person jumped the gun and is trying to make a run for it too quickly. You watch as none of the guards go to make an immediate advance on them, but the chains that he was wearing sprout barbed bladed razors and leap out and latch around his wrists. And you see a very unsettling sight. This woman, dark hair. Give me 1 sec. I wasn't expecting you to search him in particular, so I want to drop y'all a picture, give y'all a little creepy foreshadowing. This is going to be in your strongholds and followers thing. Dark hair, wearing nothing but tatters, and these barbed chains that weave all the way around her body. You can make a religion check to try to identify this creature.
Don't fail me now.
Oh, Davos isn't feeling very religious today.
You, well, I will say, actually make this with advantage, because you are a trained paladin, trained to fight against certain such evils.
There you
Atta
go.
boy. You know this immediately. With an at 20, it awakened a weird kink in you when you were a teenager. This,
You ain't lying about that.
this is a chain devil. A chain devil. They are fairly powerful fiends who are the torturers of hell. And one of their abilities is to animate chains and metal around them. You watch as this chain that rises up actually stabs through the chest of the person who is fleeing, and it drags them back as they're choking on their own blood. And she says something in Infernal, which I don't think you understand. You do not. She says something in Infernal to him. And you watch as the chain forces itself further in him, and further in him, and further in him, and further in him before his torso burst open as these bladed chains become too much for his vessel, and his body collapses. It's a very gruesome sight. It's deeply unsettling. And to know that this thing is a part of Bane's army, and that part of your plan depends on getting your dad and them out of there, it's terrifying.
Man, Davos out here watching snuff films.
Oh God.
No.
You come back to, and you're sweating, a cold sweat on this chilly day, but you're not quite sure what to make of what you just saw. So enjoy your nightmares and your trauma.
Guys, we got a problem.
1 point of trauma.
Problems. Besides the wars we're about to fight?
Coleman's like, you gotta be a little more specific, homie.
So we had a plan to try to rescue them before the war? Is that what Josh was saying?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, between Gideon and Osvius, as well as your dad and his assembled party, they were going to try to unlock all the levies and get them to safety before the battle actually took off in earnest.
Right.
But this,
So I would tell them there's a chain devil probably guarding against that happening.
Is that something that's more hard or less hard to kill than dragons?
I would say less hard.
less hard technically, but that's not a very good scale to
We're
work
just
on.
talking, we're
We're
talking
talking
about
about
something
the
else
chains
being
hard.
less hard, okay?
Oh
Like-
god.
Sorry, I was thinking of a book I just read called Hyperion. They have this god, it's called the Shrike, and it's just full of blades kind of thing. So imagine you're eating a chicken pot pie, but that pie was made of razor blades. That's
Okay.
kind of what I just saw.
I guess we just
Like
kill
a beef shit
her.
as well.
We just kill it and get our
Well,
people.
yeah, just add it to
Goldbrand
the
solution
list.
to everything. Just kill it too. Yeah.
Kill it, yeah.
Probably
If
need to
it
take care of
bleeds, we
that.
can kill it.
Take care of her first, or them. There may be more than one. I'm assuming.
How
I
many
don't like that.
prisoners will there be on our sides? I guess they can't help us. She'll murk them. Oh boy.
Well,
Yeah.
you
My
know that.
assumption. I was just gonna say my assumption is not every prisoner would have a chain devil assigned to them, but I could be wrong. At least the
But I
most
meant that, like,
important ones.
If
You
they,
get the sense that if they, like, if all of the prisoners make a run for it, not all of them are going to make it. Hopefully, a few of them will, but, or excuse me, hopefully most of them will, but at least a few of them are going to be snatched up. You know that it's not necessarily they control one chain at a time. You don't know exactly what their limitations are, but that is just one element of their power.
So how did we plan on doing this?
I don't know that
Teleporting, dimensioning.
I don't think we
Levitate.
The plan was that you guys know Erenbor has this sort of mindset that he's going to try to, free people from the back lines. What Erenbor does not know is that Gideon and Osvius are going to try to help him do that. So you're going to have these people here trying to unchain as many people as they can, and then basically make a run for it. There's not so much a cohesive strategy as let's get as close as we can. Let's let the prisoners get as close as they can to our army before we do this. In this way, there's less time for the enemy to react.
So what? We weren't gonna do anything.
You guys in particular, you'll have to discuss it.
Yeah,
Right.
it kind of sounds like they won't be able to slip away when that
Right.
happens. It's gonna get them. Oh god, maybe we have to go get them now? Oh no, I can't.
I'm going.
Okay,
You're
so
going.
Not necessarily like right this moment, but
just go
try
get
to
them when
get
the
them
battle starts.
before. Yeah,
Just go kill that thing first.
yeah. That would be my assumption. Minotaur, her.
Well,
I can
Stuff.
do
you
mine.
believe the Minotaur is actually an allied force. The
Okay.
Minotaur was one of the Minotaurs that was petrified in the chamber that you believe Erenbor and his allies had freed. When they were doing the sneaky heals and stuff, you noticed that they were trying to hide that from him.
Okay. Well then, yeah, definitely the chain
The
demon.
Chain Devil.
Yeah.
Okay, kill it first. I'm done with that.
High on your list of priorities. While we're mulling on that, prescience. Do you want to do any of that? We'll say that this was the night before. This way, you don't have to wait till tonight night.
Cobra
3 hits.
No. Yeah, really though. Loads up. All 5 hits. Yeah. Goldbrand wants to know if they win this fight, this battle, if the path will continue.
If you win this fight, will the path continue?
Will it be
Okay.
over? Damn it, please.
Well,
Roll some checks.
you'll see. Insight checks, right? He will take 3 hits, which is advantage and +2 or +4, +2.
+2. 27 is very solid. your vision comes to, and you see a few different things. First, you see the battlefield itself. The city of Secumber, the bridge of which you're planning to sort of force them to bottleneck to. And you see countless corpses. Corpses of troops in armor that you recognize. Members of the Nightstone Watch, member of the R.D. Rangers, members of the Lord's Alliance. You see many enemies felled here. You see trolls and ogres and orcs and monstrous aberrations that you can't even begin to name. Dead in droves. It's difficult to say from this perspective who has won. And as you try to press further beyond it, you're getting a similar sense as when you first set out on this journey, that this is a point where this will determine the fate of the path. If you do not succeed here, there is nothing beyond that you can see. And as such, it is locked until that point becomes known. You're not sure if you're going to win this. You think, given all the signs, that this is what Uthgard wants you to do, to lead your people, to rally all of your respective forces against these forces of darkness. You do not think even Uthgard knows if this is a sure thing, as it were. A deeply unsatisfying answer, considering a 27 insight.
No, that's all Goldburn wanted to know. He can go out tomorrow and kill as many of them as possible. And winning doesn't mean the end of the path. That's all he really cares about. That would have been scary.
Okay. Any other pre-battle to-dos in Nightstone?
Looks like you're on mute, Josh.
Do you have a quick question?
Yeah, dude.
What I wanted to do with the War Rune, does that require attunement beforehand, or can I just go out there and do the thing? I'm asking because if not, I'll pick up an item. If yes, I won't.
Rules is written, I think you do have to attune to it and then spend the 8 hours doing that thing. But I will say you're going to have an opportunity to attune to it. You would have an hour after that process to attune to another item. Put on whatever you want, and we'll say that for that time frame, you unattune to one item, do the thing, and then reattune.
Okay, I'm gonna take that amulet of proof against detection and location.
Okay. You are protected from scrying and special such shit. If there's nothing else, we'll actually go ahead and take a break there. We will see you guys back, and let's try to aim for 5-ish. We'll see how it goes. I don't know how far we'll get tonight, but I'm excited to fucking see. So, see you in a second, dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll have time.
Okay.
You want to go to them now before before this next rest? You want to go get them?
Not necessarily right now, because that's how would we do it? Is if we do the airship, they would see us approach.
I see. You want to do it before the battle starts, as like a preemptive strike sort of thing.
Maybe.
Well,
That's what
keep in
I'm
mind,
kind of
if you're thinking
asking
the
y'all.
airship approach. We also have the scroll we just got, right? Isn't that supposed to take us there?
Takes us to Succumber, and then I guess we would sneak. Yeah, how would we get to their front lines? I think is what he's asking too. Without being seen.
Right now, you don't... I mean, we're about to head to the city, so you'll get an idea of how imminent that is. If that eases any anxiety. Or gives you more anxiety, hopefully.
You want to get there and maybe rest there tonight and make the decision then?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
As little sleep as I'll be able to get.
Yeah,
Right.
we can sleep there. So we're there over the night.
Okay. Z, you have the scroll that was given to you. And I should say it is not a magical scroll in of itself. It is a copy of the sigil to get to Secumber. It is not itself enchanted, so you must use a spell slot to access that. However, you're most likely going to get a rest before your next thing. So, Z unfurls it, and once again traces the rune in sand before the sigil lights up, and the 6 of you, as well as your good friend Harshnag, because he's tagging along, vanish. And it was a clear, chilly, but sunny day when you left. But as you arrive, you see dark clouds of smoke that blacken the skies. I'm gonna change your map real quick. There's a lot to take in here, so we'll try to take it easy on you at first. In the distance, you see the high forest burning across the horizon. Davos and Goldbrand, this is part of your homeland. You know that, of course, Goldbrand, you grew up in the High Forest, and while you were not from the High Forest itself, that was along the edges of Oralbar, and the area that is currently aflame is part of what you consider your home. It is not long, once you guys arrive within Succumber Castle, before Captain Sidiri finds you. And he goes, "Ah, my lords, it's fantastic to see you." I'm doing the wrong voice. Captain Sidiri Honlar. We're almost ready to proceed with our positioning for the night. If you'd like, I can give you a run-over of everything that we have going on. I hear you, O'Malley. Sorry, my cat is begging to be let in.
Oh yeah, give us that sit rep, BB.
Okay. Are you really not going to come in now that I fucking opened the window, you little bastard?
What a
Man,
sea lion.
They're assholes. Alright. He runs you through a sea lion. I just got that, you fucker. Okay. Good callback. Sidiri goes through, well, we're quite fortunate. We've got a very good showing of troops. Succumber's guards and many of its townsfolk have taken up arms to defend their home, bolstering the infantry ranks quite a bit. The Lord's Alliance arrived with forces from Waterdeep and Daggerford. Very well-armored swordsmen, halberdiers, crossbowmen, and heavy cavalry. We even have a dispatch from all the way up in Bremen, led by a Taldin Hadras, a very shaggy Luxodon who spoke very highly of you, Lord Bergen. We're also expecting a dispatch of Lord's Alliance from Neverwinter to arrive soon. Griffins, headed by Captain Freysworn. The Helmshoof Cavalry are setting up for a flanked assault should the enemy make their way across the bridge, and Zila Yang arrived yesterday with the Golden Fields Cavalry, as well as a crazed tree named Liverlas, I think was his name. A grove of Trents in their company. However, when Thara and the Trents saw the forest was ablaze, they raced off to try to stop it. I tried to talk them out of it, but they would not listen to reason. Chief Speaker Aramenid... Fuck these goddamn hard-ass fantasy names. Amaranadine? Yeah, sure. From Helmshold has sent a heavily armored battalion of knights with tower shields and several healers. Lucian and Integrity arrived yesterday with the full force of the Order of the Aster. 80 knights in gleaming armor. The dwarves of Gauntlgrim... Oh, I should be pointing some of these out to you. So these purple guys back here... Oh no, do the thing. These purple guys back here are the Knights of the Order of the Aster. The Ardeep Rangers are these guys over here in front of them. To the north of that, you'll see the Helmshoof Cavalry as well as the Golden Fields Riders to the left of them. Way back here are the Dwarves of Gauntlgrim and their siege units. A little south of that is the Clerics and Paladins of the Order of the Gauntlet. Just south of that is half of Goldbrand's kids. I mean, the entirety of the Uthgard tribe. And then over here, the the Nightstone Watch, and then of course your Yotani boys. You also have the Westwind Wyvern, positioned just north of the bridge, and just south of the bridge, the Nine Lives. The Dwarves of Gauntlgrim kept their promise, and have brought us heavy infantry and ballista. Safin has assembled a group of powerful casters from among your allies, and they are discussing their options of best tactics. Lord Davos, even the Fey Fighters, down to the southeast, even the Fey Fighters are doing their best to keep morale up, but granted that's a tall order. I'm sure they'd love to catch you at the Unicorns Run Tavern tonight. Thank you, darling. That is my second.
This dude in character thanked his wife. Loved it.
A green dragonborn, Galvin, I believe is the name, arrived yesterday and joined the Rangers. The Uthgard have massed an encampment outside the city. Although I will admit, Lord Goldbrand, that I am more than a little unfamiliar with the various tribes of your people. I do not know precisely who is here, but Chief Hydia should be able to fill you in. Lord Pandora, your sister Avalon and the Nine Lives crew were set up to provide artillery support from the southern side of the river, while the Westwind Wyvern is doing the same from the north. Zephyros' tower has united with Count Thulin's castle, providing a good deal of aerial support. Gideon and Osvius are keeping to the east side of the river, laying low and working out the best tactics for freeing the levies. Also, a few of your old friends stopped by. Kolkar has joined up with the Ardeep Rangers, and Aku has promised to aid whichever group gets him the most drunk. So there's that. I have quite a bit to attend to in the coming moments getting ready, so if you have anything further of me, unless you have anything further of me, I will depart.
Don't die.
Any questions or anything for your captain?
Captain on the Wyvern?
No, Captain Sidiri, the
Yeah.
Nightstone Watch captain.
Hit him hard, hit him low.
Right the Helmia. Doesn't worship Helm, but you guys have a couple of people that you can talk to. Primarily Hydia is probably the one that you think is most pressing, Goldbrand.
Oh yeah, Cobra definitely wants to go check out the morale of all the tribes and just to make sure that everyone's cooperating and that we're all ready to kill a bunch of children.
Excellent. You make your way down and leave, sort of leave what is the actual perimeter of the city and into the woods that sort of flank it on the southern side. And it does not take you long to find Hydia as well as the various chiefs. Hydia, when she sees you, she does a gesture and disappears into her tent. And if you follow her in,
Hey-o.
she goes, I'm glad you have made it here, Goldbrand. It is proving more difficult than I thought. For one, we do not have all the tribes present, and some of them are calling into question the legitimacy of our attempt at a moot. Kenneth and the Grey Wolves are not back yet. Enola and the Griffins are not here yet. Mira has not returned with the Elks or the Ghost Tribe. And we never did find the Thunder Beast Tribe. I don't even know how we're going to try to contact them.
The stones.
I mean, stones. I mean,
They
not
don't
here,
have them.
They're, they're not tears. How many do we have?
She goes, we have the majority of the Uthgards. A few hundred troops. It's difficult to get an exact number. You also know, by the way, she said she hadn't heard from the Thunder Beast. That they never found the Thunder Beast tribe. But you found the Thunder Beast tribe.
Turn into a velociraptor and screech into the air.
Ah!
Do it.
Oh man, that was. I guess that was very recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, technically 5 days ago? Maybe a little more than that. Maybe closer to like 7 or so now, but...
The Thunder Beast should be on their ways. I think, right? They agreed to come help.
Yeah. She sighs a bit. Good, that'll be more. But of the 11 tribes, we're still missing 4 of them. And that does...
Is it the requirement that we convene a moot before we do this? Why not just take what we have,
Some of them are...
and worry about
Some of the chiefs are proving resistance. Some of them are wondering if this is the best course of action or if this will be our extinction. And without having all the tribes present, it is difficult to get us all to agree. It's also not helping that some of the warriors are brawling amongst each other. In most instances, I would consider this a good thing. It's good for morale for them to be able to work out their frustrations. But I do worry that if we do not have more of a consensus soon, that it will prove difficult to wrangle them on the battlefield. While this is going on inside the tent, we'll say Pandora, with your sharp eyes, you see some shapes in the distance, little light splotches against the backdrop of dark smoke. And after a few moments, you recognize this as several griffins and their riders, the same griffins that you met at the castle. A few of the Uthgart see this as well and begin to shout out and whistle and cheer. And Goldbrand and Hydia, you pop your heads out to see as the Enola and her griffin Uthgart touch down just outside of camp. And there's quite a few griffins with them, way more than you thought they even had. And many of them are barded in armor. And with well-armored riders. They don't seem like they're Uthgard. Or at least not all of them.
Oh.
Ooh.
What? I was gonna say I told you so, but not them's.
not the ones I told you about.
Yeah, that's questions, I guess. Not the, I guess.
Uh,
yeah, many of them. Does Goldbrand see Zane?
You do, indeed. It takes you just a moment before you realize, wait a minute, these are Lord's Alliance troops. And after a moment, you do see Zane Fracemorn, who seems to be speaking with Enola. And if you approach, he goes, "Hail, Lords of Nightstone! I must thank you for stirring up trouble. Training can be fun, but it gets a little monotonous after a couple of years. Something like this to shake the rust off every now and then, it's more than a good thing. While we were escorting our troops down, we saw Enola's pride of griffins heading the same direction. We've close ties. We've managed a fair trade deal where we swap a few griffins every now and then to diversify each other's bloodlines. And he actually stops mid-sentence, and as his eyes settle on Bergen, and he points to his necklace. Those are prayer beads, are they not? Bergen, yeah, dude, that's totally what they are. And he goes, bless, cure wounds, cure wounds. And he's sort of muttering to himself the spells and the gemstones that are associated with each one. He goes, this might just be a far-reaching coincidence, but I believe I know who those are from. An old ally of mine, one who tended to skirt toward the darkness a little more than I would like. It's probably nothing, but just stood out to me. I'm glad to see that you were all well. I trust that the doom of the desert was not too much trouble, yes?
Knowing how sus Bergen can be.
How sus Bergen can be? I mean, you can ask him to roll an insight check. Devin, if you wouldn't mind doing that for this sheet.
Plus 13 on his insight.
Plus fucking, yeah, somewhere donk. And he rolls a 4. With a 17, Zane seems to be fairly truthful. He's definitely not being necessarily open about it, but it seems to be a bit of a touchy subject. Shrug. Touchy subject's probably not the right word to use there, but definitely caught him off guard. Zane sort of shakes his head. My apologies, I'm sure that you have much to tend to. I will prepare my troops and meet up with the other Lords' Alliance and figure out our best course of action. I understand that you have quite a few of aerial troops, actually, with the Westwind Waven, the castle, as well as your Griffin Riders, and the Raven Riders I see over there. We should have quite an excellent force to provide cover from the air, provided not too many of them strike us out of it. But I must be done. Yeah, he goes, "No, I understand we're going up against a couple, but knowing that all of you managed to just kill one makes me feel a little more confident about my odds."
2, 3.
You killed 3 dragons.
Two big ones and the small one.
2 very big ones, 1 very small one. He goes, "Oh, well, if you've killed 2 before, then these 2 should be no trouble, should they?"
Well, we faced them one at a time.
Yeah.
That does tend to make it easier, yes. Yeah, especially when they don't have an entire army beneath them, but who's counting?
Come back and talk smack when you've killed the dragons.
Oof.
Ooh.
I'm trying to remember details from our campaign 10 fucking years ago. He's like, I would prefer, I would prefer rather than killing them, removing the source of conflict. I've aided a white dragon or 2 in my time. Freeing one off of a frost giant ship was, one particular highlight that I look forward to. Why kill a dragon when you can sick it on a bunch of giants? That's just the perfect counterbalance, in my opinion.
Gonna stop in the middle of
Smothering
combat
war.
and befriend all the dragons, I guess. Since that's apparently how you're supposed to do it.
Also, I love how Brandon just randomly quoting lines of the dialogue. It's all interconnected.
I want it to work so bad. Why doesn't it work?
I feel like that's in character.
That's basically Donovan right now, though. He's like fucking hitting his head against the wall. Like, we figured out all the words. What does it fucking mean? You guys are in the Uthgard camp, and Z, you actually feel a tap on your shoulder.
Oh boy.
And if you turn, you see it's Gideon, surprisingly enough. And he sort of waves you over to walk away from the rest of the group.
Okay.
As you go over, he goes, Z, Zarok, I have to thank you for all you've done for Nightstone and for all of us. truly across the realm. And it's a little awkward to do this. My dad kind of gave you my axe, and it wasn't his to give. Uthgard are weird about possessions and ownership, but I would really like to have that back. If you don't mind. I know you killed Seiko with it, so it might have some sentimental value, but...
Yeah, I'd easily hand it back over. I kind of pull it out of the bag, and I'm not like a martial person at all, so I try to do like a cool little like wrist flip, like spin it around, but I sort of fumble it a little bit and catch it, and I'm like, this definitely isn't suited for me anyway.
Will you roll a... I'll let you choose, sleight of hand or just a flat dexterity check?
I'll do sleight.
Actually, they're probably the same. Actually, I think they are the same. Okay, you managed not to cut yourself. Good job. And it actually looks like you try to like toss it up and catch the handle, and you like almost grab the blade, but you don't. And you hand it back over to him, and he nods and goes, "Thank you. I didn't want to bring it up in front of Dad. He's weird, but he gave away my shit. That's not fair. I had this 10 years in the goddamn Fey realm. This is, we've been through some shit."
I elbow him a little bit. I'm like, your dad's a hard ass. I get it. I think he kind of likes you, maybe a little bit, but don't tell him what to do.
I think he kind of likes me too. That's good words for it. It's funny because I've only heard him threaten to kill me like 6 times, but to be fair, I was possessed at least 2 of those. So
I think your track record might be better than mine at this point. Good job.
He thanks you, and now that he has his axe and tucks it into his belt where it can't be seen, he comes around to greet the rest of you, and he goes, I know that Erembor is going to be up with the levies, trying to free the other people, and my aim is to wait beneath the bridge on the other side of the river. When they get close, Osvius and I will pop invisible, run up there, and try to get as many of them out of the shackles as we can. Unless any of you have any suggestions.
Watch out for the chain devil. There's
what?
going to be this really awkwardly goth, sexy dominatrix
Oh my God.
woman.
Not awkwardly
Wait, you're
sexy.
wrong.
Awkwardly goth, sexy.
I have never faced one, but I did happen to see her slice one of the prisoners up from the inside out using those chains. So target her first? Question
I
mark?
pull out a copy of Chainsaw Man out of my bag and start flipping through like Chain Devil, Chain Devil. I think I've heard this before. Hang on, how did he beat him?
There you go. That's pretty fucking intense. I mean, yeah, if it's good that we're aware of her. That'll definitely help our odds against her. I won't lie, that makes me a little anxious about getting everyone out of there. But I guess at the end of the day, we're not going to save everyone in this fight. We just have to try to save as many as we can.
I thought we just had to kill the persons.
I mean, I don't think that'll necessarily stop all of the other ones. And, given how generals typically work in war, I don't think she's going to be, fighting on the front lines herself. You might have to cleave your way through a few hundred of them to get to her.
You can have more if you want.
That's right, you can have more if you want, Devin.
I mean, if you want some lasagna, I got lasagna.
Bruh.
I
always.
actually don't like lasagna.
You're wrong.
Alright, we're kicking Devin out of the party.
I'm about to say, as an Italian, I'm offended.
I
I
mean,
will make you good lasagna one
It's
day.
the red
We'll
sauce.
so
you
you
gotta
don't
make-
like any tomato sauce?
I can
Because
eat
he's had
it.
shitty red sauce.
I can eat it, but I threw it up once as a kid. Makes me kind
Ooh,
of feel
yeah.
black.
There.
Oh yeah.
Use a little bit of sugar to cut the acidity, and it won't be quite so
I can eat it.
back of
just,
throat.
makes me feel anyway.
No, I got you. Gideon has one more thing. You guys tell him the information. He thanks you, and Gulbrin, he tries to sort of nod, pop his head to the side to lead you off to the side. And he goes, so Starkeeper, I'm wondering if you want to try to take one more look at stars tonight, and if you do, then I would like to try to do it with you, if that's okay.
Okay.
God.
Yes. So would Goldbrand know? Is there at all a benefit to like both of them doing it? Like, does it?
You might see more. You search for something in particular that didn't seem to have a definitive answer. He's just trying to do like a general read of the, like the default.
He just wants to look.
Yeah. And this will be his second time doing it. It seems more like he's trying to become more comfortable with this. And hopefully I'll uncover something worth looking at.
I don't know if Gorbran would want him to do it. Because Gorbran doesn't really get to pick how this works.
I mean, you could deny him. You have the tablet, you have the bloodweed. I mean, granted, he's in a Uthgard camp. Surely one of his cousins here has some bloodweed that, let him have take a hit or two off of, but...
I don't know, but he doesn't pick that he has the powers. Like, Gorbran couldn't trade any different.
Oh, I see. No, yeah, the only other apprentice you know of was killed when the Uthgarts, before they had to join up with the Stone Giants. The same battle that killed your battle brother, and several of the others, as well as the elder Chief Moonmusk. Lothar's apprentice was killed in that fight as well. So right now, he's the only known Starkeeper of the Blue Bears besides yourself.
And I'm old. Fine. Alright, it's fine.
You are pretty old. Alright. Do me a favor. Choose whatever conditions you want and roll for that. I'll actually roll this in chat.
We'll both just take one for shits and giggles. I don't actually remember.
I've heard giggling is a side effect. He gets to add a little bit to that. What is it, your insight score?
Yes. So I get a +2 to that no matter what. I'm going to go check what one hit is worth.
Interesting. I think one hit is just a flat thing. He just barely gets to a 10. So he's not going to see a whole hell of a lot. Both of you fade out.
He doesn't get advantage for me helping him? For me teaching him the ritual?
You know what? I'll allow it, actually. That's cute.
Gorbran makes him or perhaps provides him a censure. Takes him to something reflective. Where they can see the night sky.
Y'all are not far from the water's edge. I could say you'll fill a basin with water and use it to stare at the stars. You fade out, your vision fades out, and you see, with a 20, you see a couple of things. You see Hydia at your side, in the middle of battle, slashing through these odd green giants, but as you slash them, their flesh mends itself. You see Felgalus entangled with one of the black dragons, both of them spiraling as they plummet toward the earth. And you see Bergen, face contorted in terror. Roll a perception check.
I gotta admit, I don't like that.
Oh, we got mass cure wounds, so that's not making any
27.
sense.
That's solid. Mass cure wounds, obviously. You realize his face contorted in terror. He is petrified.
Right.
Literally. He is made of stone. You're not aware of anything in Bane's army that can do that type of thing. But it's an unsettling realization. Especially because you know that cure woundsing a statue will not mend the statue. As you come
But
back
ironic as well.
yeah. You guys come back to, and Gideon once again tosses some cookies. He goes, "Oh, do you ever get used to that?"
Not really.
And he kind of shudders a bit. He goes, I think I saw something. It didn't really make a lot of sense. It was 5 eggs encased in ice. It looked like, there were Jotun nearby. It looked like they were frost giants, I think. I don't know, the details are a little fuzzy.
That's all he remembers.
5 eggs in ice. Somewhere cold. It's weird, it didn't really get the sense that it was something that was to come. I don't know, navigating this path is a little weird. It's hard to tell which way is up sometimes.
Sometimes you see things that are. Sometimes things see you looking at them. Tread carefully.
He nods his head a bit. Oh well.
Were they
Gorbran still
dragon
doesn't give
eggs
Yeah,
from
Gorbran still
earlier in the campaign?
doesn't give him any bloodweed, but he will relay this to the party if it's not like already. Well, this is the night before. Yeah, you get. He'll relay the
this
next
is
day.
You guys are on the breakfast table. Goldbrand's like, by the way, my kid sees visions.
Sounds like the dragon eggs.
Sucks for him. It does sound like his dragon eggs. The only place we know that dragon eggs were was in the big ship, Harshnag's place. Hopefully soon.
Was it no? What?
Not
Harshnag?
Harshnag. You're thinking of Svardborg, the Berg of the Ice
Storvald's
Giants.
place. Soon to be
The-
Harshnag's place, I hope.
Yeah, you're okay. I see where you're going now. Yeah, you know that the dragon. You guys freed the dragon to get her eggs. You saw the eggs earlier. You saw where they were, and the thought occurs to you that dragon's dead. That dragon washed up on the shore not far from Bremen, a few days after you guys had left.
Hmm.
So what happened to the eggs?
Oh,
Godzilla 2000 all over again.
Apparently, they're still stuck in ice.
Classic.
maybe.
How would we get theirs though and back? There's no way so we
Well,
could.
and from Gideon's impression of it, you gather this is a vision of the past.
Nice.
And it's weird that it's tied to the path at all. It's the only thing he saw. He's not quite at the point where he can successfully navigate the path and see multiple things such as you can. Somehow this ties to the path. You don't know how. You don't know why. Shrug.
Goldbrand,
Like smug.
big hit from his liquor skin. Gulp, gulp,
Look,
gulp.
You guys, it is the day of, by the way. If anybody marked off any spell slots yesterday, you're welcome to restore those. There's a couple of things that y'all have to do to... Oh, shit, one of these was supposed to be last night. All right, we'll fix that. We'll do some time fuckery. The first is the banner, spending 8 hours of which to transfer its rune to a location. I'm going to check the radius on that.
500 flits.
500-foot radius means 1,000 feet. That's a pretty good area. Where do you feel like putting that magic down, Josh?
I'm trying to figure out like the area nearest to where sort of like a central point where the front line would begin. So like I don't know like where the battle's actually going to take place. Orientationally, it's confusing.
You guys see the bridge here in the center. This is sort of the main choke point along this river. This is a very broad river. It's not something that troops could easily ford. So it's something... This is where they're going to try to draw all the troops and make the melee confrontation here.
So
But there will be...
to make the edge, like the edge of it sort of out here then, where like people know that there's sort of a perimeter in that in case it gets pushed in, because I assume they're coming in as we're trying to push back. There's almost no chance we're going to hold them, but I don't know. Unless we're planning on charging forward. It's hard to say. I don't
It is
really,
hard to say.
also, as far as the map goes, I don't know what 1,000 feet would be. But I would say that I wanted to at least cover the bridge and then sort of back towards us a bit.
Okay. I think... So obviously this map scale is a little fucky. But for the intents of this, I think we're going to say that those are 10-foot squares. So 1,000 feet would be 100 squares. So 50 squares in either direction. So you could put it like here in the heart of Succumber, and it would reach all the way out across the bridge, probably even a little bit. So covering the entire bridge as well as part of the bay and the majority of the area around the castle.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do, just because I want to try to cover as much of the area that I know as we can. So I think that's what we'll do.
Excellent. When we begin making battle checks, if you will help me remember, they get a +1 to that because of that banner.
Pro gamer move.
Yeah.
Indeed. You also have a scroll of anti-magic field that Bergen has and can cast with a wisdom check. It is a little fucky because it cancels all magic. So, like, if you cast it, magical items don't work in there. If you
We
cast
should
it and it...
Goldbrand and Bane together in it.
Oh,
Despite,
I would love to see that.
some fisticuffs.
Does it cancel spells?
Yeah.
Spells, magical effects, items. So, like, let's say you summon an elemental. If that elemental walks into the anti-magic field, it ceases to exist.
Damn.
Okay, because I actually had a... never mind. I don't know about... That makes me kind of scared.
It's a little bit of a double-edged sword. I'm not even certain how long it lasts.
8 hours? An hour? 10 minutes?
Why say all of the options rather than just...
List every
This-
number that exists.
I don't think it's 10 hours, 24 hours. It's one of the other three. Some of them are up to like a week or 8 days or something.
Becomes divorced from the magical energies that suffuse the multiverse. That's quite a sentence. It lasts an hour. And it's a 10-foot sphere. So,
Okay.
would
You
be...
could-
It can't stop. Oh, never mind.
If you wanted to do that, though, you could theoretically put it like at the choke point. Granted, it wouldn't cover a ton of area, but you could put it at the choke point to try and stop spells from coming into your
Yeah.
frontline troops.
Yeah. Or
That's a
coming
good
into
point.
the castle.
You will know that will prevent your spells from going through it from that perspective.
It's a sphere, though, right? Like I could theoretically cast beyond it.
It depends on the thing. Some of them, like, you know, a fire bolt, I imagine, leaves your hand and flies toward it.
Right. But like if
there's
it's,
maybe-
if it's a spell that's like a point you can see or something, like I assume that if I cast the point beyond it, that
Yeah. Most of them I would say yeah. But, like, anything that I picture as being, like, thrown, you know, gets a little... Like, a lightning bolt, for example, leaves you and goes to a point. It would
Gotcha,
not
yeah.
be able to travel through.
So
But,
if I try to cast a lightning bolt through the thing, it would just
Yeah, it wouldn't go any further than the anti-magic field.
I mean, even so, these are only 10-foot cubes. You're only gonna get like a
4
small
squares.
section of this, or yeah, you're only gonna get a small section of this bridge covered it if you do it. So I could just shuffle step to the side. Like,
That's fair
I'm
too.
gonna go over here and just shoot that way.
It's y'all's choice. This isn't something I necessarily planned on. It's what you guys rolled for Emirate Horde, and I'm like, that might be some fun. So I figured I'd at least put it out there.
Yeah, I say it doesn't hurt at all, especially if you mark it on the map and we know it's there, because you could strategically put some of your frontline melee troops sort of in that vicinity and protect them from spells. But if they have any magical items on them when you use, that might cause them issues too.
Very good points.
I don't know. I'll let the party vote. I'm not the
What do y'all
boss of
think,
this
guys?
thing. I'm just here to sling spells and hope that mine don't wind up in the sphere.
What do we think, my lords?
About
How long does
doing
it
the
take you to
sphere?
cast it?
It takes... I think it's just an action. Yeah, just an action.
I think we save it. I think it could be very useful if we run into. You remember how Emergo was whooping our ass up and down with a bunch of fucking
Mm-hmm.
bullshit? We save it for something like that, and maybe.
Oh, imagine if imagine if there's a spellcaster that rolls up and you just dome him in that sucker for a second. Yeah,
Exactly.
you around.
Yeah, send Goldbranson Arc in there with him. Send.
Oh
It's not
yeah.
bad. Josh, I'm looking at your message. The GIF has got me really distracted.
sorry.
Um,
Sorry. It was mostly a joke. The GIF was fishing because I'm obviously fishing.
No, I got you. Josh at some point, Z at some point muses aloud, what if we dispel the magic on the chains? And Davos knows enough about chain devils to know it's not the chains that are enchanted. She can animate chains. And when they do, they take on this barbed, razored appearance. So it's
like
not
a
the chains
spell.
themselves. It's not even a spell so much as it's something innate within her. Something you would probably know enough. So like when a spirit manifests in hell, like for the first time, it becomes like this fleshy mound on the lowest ring of hell, and the chain devils are what go around and torture them. They like cause them excruciating pain. They can shift their faces to look like different people, so they'll make it seem like it's your loved one who's torturing you. Very fucked up shit. But you know that the chains themselves, like the chains that the captives have, don't need to be magical for that to work. And you're not sure if a dispel magic would work on that. It could be worth a shot, but it's not like a surefire thing like, yes, that's a magical effect. Because some creature effects and magical effects, the line between is a little fuzzy.
That was my thought. Was it might be more like a feature of their existence versus like a spell they're casting, right? Like a magical effect. It's more like I am like a chain devil, like a fiend that's a chain devil. So I can control these types of things. It's not.
I
like
guess
a
almost
spell
like a
you-
weapon at that point
Right.
versus a spell.
That's a fair point.
Doesn't that mean the anti-magic field should stop that? Like he said, dispel magic. Like I understand how dispel magic wouldn't stop it, but
The way Joey
Let me
just
look at one
explained it,
thing.
I would not assume that the anti-magic field.
Yeah, I felt the same way. It's almost like if I used like a class feature that was baked into my character, whether it was deemed magical in property or not, That wouldn't stop that from happening.
That's fair.
It's almost like if you did that and like my dark vision stopped working or something.
Right.
I got you. I agree. Okay. How about that?
Although I
What
probably
I'm
can't argue
seeing-
the DM's case against you.
What I'm seeing
How about it?
seems to suggest that most creature abilities would not be affected by dispel or anti-magic abilities.
Or anti-magic, okay.
I might do a little closer look at that in the coming week, but
Is there a way for us to surprise and murk her? Like, do half her health or more in the first round kind of deal? Question mark? Anybody have abilities, helpful things? Like, is it all possible we just go in and we get a surprise round? We get...
I
and then
shoot
we-
real good.
I wouldn't count on a surprise round. You guys would have. I mean, again, you're trying to get by hundreds of creatures. Some of them are pretty fucking sharp. Some of them are pretty fucking dumb. But yeah,
I'd
knowing
be
where
pretty
it is in the
surprised
map.
if somebody dimension doored behind me.
Distinct possibility. Dimension door into the middle of the army. That's a great idea.
It's not a
It's
great
my
idea.
favorite. It's my favorite
No, it's-
idea.
I'm
actually.
enjoying it.
Goldbrand
you
is
could-
100% on.
Dimension
is,
door, I
would
think,
you
lets
be
you bring one
surprised?
person.
No,
Right.
I think
Um,
you make a door that they can all run through.
I don't have that ability.
Dimension door is just the one. You're thinking of.
No.
We've looked at this before, Devin. Dimension
weird.
door lets you carry one.
Right.
I think it's gate that lets you do. Gate makes a permanent
Arcane.
portal.
Okay.
Look it up so you can appease your anxiety.
No, I
Which-
decided to stop because y'all are right. I'm sure.
It's part of
had
the
to
reason I
look it up
took
for-
teleportation circle because I thought that I could just be like, I'm gonna open this door and all the good guys could run through it, and then I'm gonna.
That's what I thought it was too.
And includes
No.
it right around a half of someone's body, and they just
Technically, so I'll look at Arcane Gate. Technically, does what you're thinking it does, but the problem with Arcane Gate is it has to be a point you can see, like within a specific range. So like you can't just be like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna open a gate here, and then there's one like in a city that's 7,000 kilometers away. Like it doesn't work that way.
fair enough.
Takes a picture in fucking Nightstone. Looks at it like I can see it. Poof.
There's a movie based on that.
I don't have Pass
Jump.
Without a Trace prepared.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's a good movie.
I figured we would be sneaking, so I didn't prepare Pass Without a Trace.
You
We
do know that
could-
Osvius has passed without a trace.
I was
Can
gonna
I
say we could.
can I summon my siren elemental to cast fog cloud in Goldbrand's honor?
That's not how that works, but that's a funny choice of words. You'll see some relevancy in that. All right. So it's anti-magic field. It sounds like we're leaning towards save it. Is that right?
save it. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
If it's just an
Okay.
action versus the casting time, 100%.
Okay. You guys.
Goldbrand tells
We're
us-
gonna do some time fuckery. It is the end of the day before, when Davos, you finally make your way down to the Unicorns Run Inn.
Hell yeah.
Which all your bards are ready. They see you and they cheer and they immediately like bring you down and get you drunk and start asking you questions about what you fought. You know, you tell them about the dragon and the badass stuff that you fought, Slackwithel, and they're eating it up. They're loving it. And Timpani will say, goes, I'm glad to see that you haven't managed to get your ass kicked too hard yet. I'm admittedly we've been trying to keep everybody here a little more on the upbeat side, but things are looking kind of dour. I need a little something to, put a little pep in their step.
I don't think Goldbrand has enough blood weed.
Well, if he could just hook me up, that's all I really care about. No. If you, but no, I'm just thinking some of your songs have been particularly good hits. You can get us a little amped before the battle. What do you say? You want to play the armies here a tune? Get their blood bumping?
It's what I do.
That's what he do indeed. And Davos picked this song, a very solid song. We're not gonna have a whole montage per se, but I will navigate through a few things as this plays in the background.
Oh, God.
All right. You guys begin your rest, uneasy, unable to really focus and sleep, and prepare yourself mentally for what's coming. The odds seem insurmountable, and the forces just seem to continue to grow. Every time you turn around, you've got more enemies to worry about. Now this chain devil. Now you've got to figure out what's going to happen to Bergen. Why is he being petrified? You've got to make sure that your spies don't get murked before they can even get out of there. You've got to make sure that you can take down the dragons, the trolls, everything else that they have, and it's unsettling at best. Into the afternoon of the following day. It's a bop. Into the afternoon of the following day, you see as Bane's forces begin to amass across the bridge. I'm going to reveal some shit for you guys.
Oh, I like reveals.
While you're doing that, point of clarification, for me personally, since we've had another rest, do I still have a point of exhaustion, yes or no?
Do you still have a point of exhaustion? You permanently do. You are rotting, my dude.
Good times.
Wow.
Okay.
I almost debated giving you another one for this particular rest, but I'm a generous man, so you're welcome.
I would be double dead by now.
Double dead indeed. As the enemy's forces begin to build up, they
Some
are
octopus.
immense. The octopus is actually y'all's from the keep. It tagged along.
Up here.
Up where? You don't know what that is. A lot of these creatures are deeply unsettling in the regard that you have never seen these types of things before. I mean, some of them are fairly recognizable. You see orcs and hobgoblins and skeletons. You know, almost all these things down here are actually undead skeletons on the bottom part of it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
There we go.
They're about to get
you see,
murked.
you see above them there's a legion of these dark knights with tower shields, full helms, plate armor. You see scores of vampires. You see helmed horrors, enormous suits of armor that are animated of pure spite. You see rogues and assassins, archers. You see those monstrous aberrations in the center here that you can't really make heads or tails of. You see these enormous... They're giants, but they're not any of the kind that you've really encountered in this adventure. But with enough time, you would recognize them as trolls. These are regenerative giants. They are particularly stubborn and difficult to kill. You also see catapults, as well as several of these ogres up in the top left, who are equipped with catapults on their back. And actually, you've seen these once before. These are goblin huckers, is what the book calls them. Goblins load themselves into these things and fling themselves across the river. It is growing dour. And as the day draws on, you see that the levies are being brought to the front of the battle. You do catch just a glimpse of Bane, Sorrow, and the Chain Devil near the front, but far enough back to where they're not within range of anything from all of you. It's almost, I don't know. I'm hesitant to start all this because once we do, there's not really a good stopping point for a good while. I'll leave it to you guys. We can press on for another 20-ish minutes and get a chunk through this initial battle, or we can start with it all tomorrow. Or, not tomorrow, excuse me, I wish. Next week.
You mean we could play every night for the next 3 days?
Oh man.
I mean, if y'all are good with staying a little closer to 1, we could get through a chunk of this.
I'm
we
on
can do
Central
that.
Time, so I have a bad view of this, but like I don't want to stop playing.
I don't want to either.
I too am on sync.
Midnight for you, Chris?
I also kind of want to wait for Spence, too.
Yeah.
I will tell you
I
what we
also
do
kind of wanna wait
tonight.
for Spence.
I will tell you guys, what we do tonight will probably not be your actual fight. A lot of this will be the grandstanding, as it were. There's going to be, the armies are going to clash a bit before you can thin out and get close enough to Bane to actually fight her. If that helps either way.
He can watch the recap. Fuck him.
It's not going to be our like. If people are willing to
Yeah.
stay up, it's not going to be our fight. Then maybe, I'm fine with staying up and just being like, all right, let's get sort of the fodder out of the way, so that when he comes back next week, it's just we're in it, we're doing
It's the
it.
good shit. Refresh my
Yeah.
memory. Davos, you will be here next week, yeah?
I should be, yes. I'm
Everybody
off of work as of now.
Everybody take a
Right.
second, knock on some wood. Okay. Well, in that case, I think we will go ahead and press on just a little bit.
I think
As
Devin's the only one that doesn't really want to.
Whoa.
Sleepy old man.
The worst part is I want to, but in about 14 minutes, my whole being is just gonna deflate.
let's see
That's
how
Cinderella syndrome.
let's see
I'll
how
roll-
you're
I'll roll
feeling.
for Devin.
Yeah. As Bane's forces amass just out of range across the river, you see this pale-skinned feminine demon in the distance that is covered in these barbed chains, and all of you get what Davos meant by this deeply unsettling force, and yet kind of sexy at the same time. You don't know how to feel about it. You watch as Bane raises a hand, and as she does, war horns from all across this encampment begin to bellow up as these monstrous creatures before you prepare for battle. And Timpani, beside you, Davos, wherever you are, goes, they call that a war cry? I think we can do better. What do you say, Dawnbringer?
Hell yeah.
And as, oh, that's not the song you were supposed to start with. But, alright. I will say, this is a playlist mixed of a bunch of different artists. It is about 50% Foo Fighters, and a variety of other rock-inspired
Is
stuff.
this Downfall of Us All?
Yeah, I knew
This
this
is,
song immediately as soon as it started.
Who is it? Can you name the band?
Day to Remember. No, wait,
No.
no. This is
Closer to the ground.
Oh, this
It's,
is not that one.
Oh my gosh, it's 4 years
I
strong.
hate to be 4 years
Yeah!
right now, and that's the song.
Yeah,
I really
yes.
hate to be
I
4
think it'd
years.
be 4 years strong right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Fucking love me some 4 years strong. With that, my dudes, as the Fae Fighters strum up their tune and everything gets going, your soldiers begin to strike their shields in rhythm, joining in your song as 1,000 voices rise up ready for this battle. And as Bane strikes down with her arm, 24 huge suits of armor, each with flames behind the helm, begin to march toward the bridge, forcing the levies to advance before them. That's these boys right here. Now, I will tell you guys, Gideon and Osvius each had to pass a DC 25 stealth check. As the levies are forced forward, you catch a glimpse of Knight Arambor, Sarah, Amaris, Akira, and Kava, each of whom is chained to the others and forced forward by these hulking suits of armor that creak their way across the bridge. And in an instant, a cloud of blue-green fog spans the full width of the bridge, and you lose sight of them all, before you see the levies racing out of the fog unshackled. Gideon and Osvis were successful. They managed to pop a darkness and get the people unbound and get them to escape. But as they rush forward, you see that your father's face has a look of absolute dread. Davos, roll a d4 for me. Are you frozen in fear or frozen in digital? A 4. I don't know if that means the good thing you think it means. You watch as the levies are racing forward, and then you hear the sound of the chains strike out from the fog. It stabs several of the innocent levy civilians through the chest and drags them back, and one of them strikes through Gideon's chest and begins to pull him back into the fog. As the liberated levies race across the fog, you see as these barbed chains dig these enemies, or dig your allies back into the fog, with a sickening lurch, each of them disappear, and the helmed horrors emerge from this mystical darkness. Sadiri cries out, "Fire volleys!" The Ardeep Rangers fire their arrows. The Wyvern and the 9 Lives begin setting off their cannons. The casters send off a flurry of spellcraft as the bridge suddenly erupts in crossfire of arrows, lightning, explosions, and cannonballs. The helmed horrors seem to be unfazed by this, only slightly deterred by the cannons and spells. But as they press on unflinchingly, they are met by the clubs, hammers, and axes of the Jotun infantry. Devin, do me a favor. Roll a d20 and add a 5.
Oh, fun.
23.
Fantastic. The Jotun come in with an impressive show of force. They bash back the helmed horrors, making fairly short work of them. Give me 1 second. I'm going to move 2 things. These guys successfully make it back here. Now it's these dudes up on the bridge with these dudes. As they are clashing into each other, you see that the their giants seem to have the upper hand. But as the fog seems to clear, this mystical darkness that Gideon popped up, you see that Sorrow, the orange-skinned tiefling, shoots up a bolt of blue energy into the sky. As this happens, Pandora, you and Ark are on the 9 lives watching this, and the water begins to writhe as you are surrounded by Marrow, who emerge from the frigid waters.
I don't like that.
Barbara, I need you to roll a d20 plus 2. And if you tell me how your badass self does this, I will give you advantage on it.
Oh,
I roll a d20 with my left hand. Boom, badass.
the thing's not wanting to. Finnick stepped on my computer and it made my thing. Okay, there's my d20s. Boop, boop, boop. See if that'll roll for me.
Had to turn the music down. I was too distracted.
Wow.
No, I got you. A 4. Oh, that's pretty rough. You get to add 2 to this. If you describe how you do this in a badass way, I'll give you advantage. How you're fighting them off, I mean. Oh, and I should say for this, don't worry about spell slots. Don't worry about abilities. I'm going to have you guys expend a certain amount of resources throughout this. So it doesn't matter what you say that you use thematically. That won't count against what you actually end up using. Okay?
Oh, cool.
Okay, so.
Cool.
So, how we fuck these guys up. You know, I got Ark and I assume, yeah, Avalon's on my ship too, right?
Yeah, Avalon, your whole crew, Ark, all of you were there. Including Young Volcano.
So I got everybody here. I'm gonna man some cannons, and me with my beautiful amethyst bow, gonna do some little Legolas action, shooting like 3 arrows at a time. You know,
Fantastic.
give me shit like standing on
Pandora.
the forward bow of my ship.
As Pandora sees all this, she grabs on one of the ropes and using your sister sees what you're doing and slices it for you with her rapier. And as you're swung up, you are lifted up to the top of the ship up on the crow's nest, and you begin just laying down the arrows, firing on these Marrow from all sides. Roll another d20 for me. And roll better. For the love of God, roll better.
Yeah.
16! Much better. Excellent. You guys managed to deal a heavy bit of damage to these guys, blasting them back, repelling the initial assault. But you watch as from the shoreline, you see several sea hags. Magical casters that you know have very unsettling abilities as they begin to make an ice bridge across the very river. As this is going on, the Helmed Horrors are being finished off by the giants, and they're feeling like they're successful in taking them out. But as those clear, you watch as wave after wave of hobgoblins come up and begin to run into the Jotun. I was going to ask Spencer, but since he's not here, Davos, roll a d20 for me. 13. All right, y'all are rolling pretty good. I need you to do me a favor. Roll 2d4. Erode. A 2 and a 3. Okay, so thankfully nothing bad happens. As these soldiers crash into the Jotun are overwhelmed. You see as a couple of the frost giants go down, a few of the hill giants. The initial wave of the Helmed Horrors did a pretty good chunk of their stamina, and as such, they are beginning to have to retreat. As they're being worn down, Sidiri blows a war horn, and actually a war horn made from one of Old Gnawbone's horns, and the Nightstone Watch begins advancing on the bridge. And you see now that these troops look much different from the last time you saw them. They are not the ragtag group of guards that you initially encountered when you came to the keep, but these are well-armed, well-trained men. And you get the sense that this is because of what you guys have done. You guys have invested in their armor and their training and their weaponry. And as these soldiers advance, you feel very strongly that they've got excellent odds. Ben, roll a d20 for me.
You got it.
Miss you at all. 19! Excellent! As they charge forward and clash with these hobgoblin forces, they're tearing through them, trying to get the upper hand. The hobgoblins are resilient and numerous, and they're outnumbered, but they are holding strong in their formation. But as they begin to thin out the soldiers, you watch as the Dread Knights, these dark armored entities from the back, begin to charge their way forward up the bridge as well. and they are going to come with the heavy clank of their boots. This Legion of Dark Knights drops their shields and raises their spears into a phalanx as they begin to cross. Josh, roll a d20 with disadvantage.
Oof.
8.
Wow.
Roll
Thanks.
2d4 for me. Roll a d6. I know this seems chaotic. Oh, okay. As the Dread Knights begin to make their way forward in this phalanx, they are tearing through the Nightstone Watch. It's actually unsettling. These are relatively finely trained warriors, but they're up against these forces of darkness that do nothing but train and practice and plot to kill. It's like they're going up against Spartans. And in this, you watch as Sidiri is striking people away with his sword, with his shield, trying to get his men to be able to retreat and the next wave come in. And as he does, you watch as one of the Dread Knights takes a spear and runs it through Sidiri's neck and out through his side. You guys watch as Sidiri stops breathing on the bridge. As this happens, Davos, you are with the 80 Shining Knights of the Order of the Aster. And this type of dark, sinister force is exactly what you guys have trained to fight. As the rest of the Nightstone Watch begins to pull back. Come here, you fucks. You and the 80 Knights of the Order of the Aster begin to surge forward. Roll a d20 for me and add 2.
Yeah.
Excellent. Fantastic. You guys come up, and it is, while these forces of darkness have trained for this, your men are impeccable. These soldiers know their formations, their routines. They know the different strategies and tactics to use against larger, burlier foes such as this. You're alongside your dad, actually. Knight Erebor joined up ranks with you when he got back over here, as did Lord Amorous. Integrity, as well as Lucian, are also with you, and you guys are cleaving your way through the Dread Knights. It's a bitter engagement, but after some effort, the Knights of the Aster seem to have the upper hand. But those of you on the shoreline and those of you in the water actually see as the hags complete their icy bridge. And as they do that, the water beneath the bridge has frozen solid and seems to stop moving. At this point, a dark cloud of bats swirls and moves its way forward, and as they rush over the bridge, they condense and convalesce into vampires, and as they emerge, they strike out at the Order of the Aster. Davos, roll a d20 plus 5, and if you tell me how you kick ass in this moment, you get advantage.
So, like, instinctively, I just wanted to say twist his dick, but like, not really.
No, too late.
I reach in my pocket and I have a little bit of garlic left over from the from last night's festivities, and I'm just like hurling it and guiding bolt into the clove of garlic above them, and it just splits into like a garlic with shrapnel everywhere.
That
A garlic
was
frag
one of those
grenade.
Mormon
Yeah.
Bibles they leave in the hotel rooms.
Oh my god, that's beautiful. Roll with advantage. Oh, you already did. I'm sorry.
Well, did I? No,
Or is that from the fight with the other two?
that was the other two. The first one was
Oh, so the 6 and the 1 are for this
yeah,
one?
so 6 is the advantage.
It's not great.
That's not.
Okay. You get to add a little bit to that, but I do need you to roll 4d4.
Oof.
No ones. Very lucky. You guys watch as the at first the vampires seem to just be overwhelming you. Since they're popping into existence and you don't really see them approach, they very much have an element of surprise to them. And as they're doing this, you're feeling as your wave of garlic washes over them, you're feeling it doesn't quite have the impact you wanted it to. But then this light builds up from within your amulet and bursts out, and the searing sunlight burns the vampires. And even as they erode into their mist, it repels that mist and evaporates it into nothing. You are able to use the lights to help defend the remaining Knights of the Order of the Aster. You do see that you've lost some men. Nobody that you recognize in particular. Also, Davos, I will fix this before next week, but both your Lathander's Chosen and your Blade of Night Erenbor get a perk from this. This is a moment where you and your people are rising up against forces of darkness. This is everything Lathander has been building you up for and preparing you for, so you're going to get a nice little perk to that. As this burst of light from the bridge fades back down from Davos, you hear a pair of mighty bellows from above, and emerging from the black clouds of smoke descending are the two black dragons, racing for the bridge and the battlefield. And in their wake, trailing behind them like shadows, is a lot of... There we go. Harpies, manticores, wyverns, just a dark force of creatures that is rising up from all over this battlefield and rushing forward in this moment. Thankfully, as they rush toward the bridge, emerging from thin air, a wall of bronze crashes into them. Thogelis has grappled onto one of the dragons, seemingly from nowhere, and they are struggling for control. Barbara, roll a d20, add just a 1.
Oh, add just a 1. Hold on. Might have to use some lucky points here. Jesus Christ. Yes.
So this is really funny. I would say that this isn't you and you don't get to do it, but Thogelis is a luck dragon. But goddamn do it. Like, don't even take the point off of you. Just go ahead and re-roll it.
It's because me and him are synchronized.
Yeah. Fantastic.
My boy.
You guys watch as Thogelis, you watch as the black dragon tries to claw at his wings and grapple him, but Thogelis is remaining strong, blasting him with lightning. They are currently in a free fall toward the water. As this is going on, where Thogelis had emerged from, you see a flash of blue light, and the invisibility fades as the cloud giant castle of Linar Mall, combined with the Tower of Zephyros, emerges. And you see a half dozen cloud giants on this, armed with ballistas, who begin firing and slinging spells at the second black dragon, who blast a broad spray of caustic acid in retaliation. Let's say Z, roll a d20 for me. Out of 1. Goes, that's not that great. Roll a d4 for me. Wait. Oh, okay. You watch as this caustic spray of acid strikes a few of the giants and does a decent chunk to their morale, but Count Thulin in particular is blasted by this, and you watch as his flesh erodes and rots from the bone and collapses. Count Thulin has been slain. As this is going on, the fight for Thogelis and the Black Dragon is still going on. Barb, roll another d20 for me. Kudos, my hero. Fantastic. Excellent. You watch as Thogelis grapples with this Black Dragon, and Thogelis seems to have the upper hand in this fight. The Black Dragon, Thogelis actually grabs onto one of its rings and begins to rip it and tear it off of his body as this dragon begins a free fall. And as it inches from the water, Thogelis opens up his wings, and like a parachute, he rises up. And then as soon as the dragon hits the water, blast another burst of lightning onto him. And the Black Dragon lies dead in the water. One of them, anyway.
One less arrow I gotta use on it, I guess.
As the waves of manticores, harpies, and wyverns grow near the castle, you watch as diving from the castle are dozens of these Uthgard, riding Pegasi, griffins, and ravens. You see the Lord's Alliance there with them. Do me a favor, Josh, roll a d20. And I put Josh here because you flirted, or not flirted, but called dibs on the leader of this group.
Hey, listen, every time I've rolled, somebody's died. Okay, this is not a good choice, but I'm gonna roll.
Okay, that's not terrible. It is like you're watching as these things full on clash into each other. A manticore tears into a raven, begins like trying to gnaw its wing off. One of the wyverns incinerates a pegasus. But you watch at the same time as many of the lancers on the griffins. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had already revealed that. Bloop.
Bloop.
Let me back up just a little bit more and show you a little bit more there. This is a great song for anybody who doesn't know it, by the way. This is Bad Omens. As they are clashing together, it seems as if the opposing flying forces are getting the brunt of the damage. It is bitter on both sides, and many are dying on both sides, yet it is not definite. as the second dragon is trying to struggle against the cloud giants in this castle, the Westwind Wyvern tries to pursue it and fire off a volley of cannonballs. Davos, roll a d20 plus 2. Ooh, oh, the plus 2 saved you. Didn't it? Yes, no, you're good. As the cannonballs fire off, you watch as the dragon takes a few hits and slows down a bit. The Westwind Wyvern runs up beside it, and you watch as several of these people, Jesse, the dwarven cannoneer, leaps off and like jumps onto its back and begins like slamming into it with an axe. You watch as Khaled, the paladin, with a longsword, is trying to do the same, and Tajin is blasting it with his breath before the dragon's wings drop limp and it begins to descend before Tajin gathers up his crew and gets back on the ship. Back on the bridge, Davos, you and the knights are coming under fire as boulders are raining down on you from the ogre catapults. You and the knights retreat out of range but are pursued by huge green-skinned trolls. And as the Order of the Aster begins to fall back, the Uthgard infantry surges forward, meeting the trolls head-on. Devin, I need you to roll a d20, and if you tell me how badass you do it, you get to roll with advantage.
A d20, you say? So I imagine that Goldbrand... I like to think he uses... because he knows he won't get to use spells after he rages. In the early parts of the fight, he wants to use some spells. He wants to cast Wall of Fire to like trap them. Like they run forward, and he raises a wall of fire behind them, and then the Uthgard just go at it.
I look over it, I'm like, that's my trick.
You guys watch as these trolls. Yeah, you guys watch as these trolls surge forward, and they are colossal. They are giants by every sense of the word, and as the wall of fire pops up behind them, you watch as fear shows in their eyes as the Uthgards tear into them and begin to attack. Roll 2d20 for me. You get to add a little bit to this.
2d20. Blank. Oh.
Ooh, okay. Well, thankfully you get to roll the high. You get to use the higher one, and you passed the 15 that you needed to. You guys are tearing into them, but it seems like the closer you get to the flames, the more intensely they fight back. You guys are having a little bit of trouble getting them to really to force them through the flames. As this is going on, the hags have completed the ice bridge and they turn their attention to the 9 lives, which is still grappling with the remaining marrow. Ben, roll a d20, and with you can do advantage if you tell me how Ark does badass shit in this moment. Can you hear us, Ben?
He's on mute.
Alright, so we're still fighting the mares around the ship.
You're fighting the marrow as well as the hags.
There's also ice back there, my fire boy.
Oh, there is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good bit of ice. I mean, they've made it's kind of hard to show it without fucking with the other layers, but that bridge does stretch the entire span from one to the other. But this is more about how you're fighting the hags and the marrow themselves.
Alright, well, if that's the case, I'm going to switch to my lightning. I'm going to fly in a circle around the 9 lives.
Hell yeah.
And use my lightning breath on the water to electrify the marrows.
Fantastic. As Ark spreads his new wings and takes a broad reach around the radius of the ship, he blasts down this... Yeah! He blasts down with this electric energy, and you watch as the marrow are fried. Almost all of them are just battering and lunging in the water. Even the hags get a bit of the electrical energy for those of them on the edge, and take a good chunk to them as well. Excellent, excellent. Where'd I go? Back on the bridge, as the Uthgard are finishing off the regenerating trolls, finally forcing them into that wall of flame. As your spell expires, you see that behind it are a line of orcs, as this legion of orcs begins to force their way onto the bridge. Devin, roll a d20 plus 2!
Gonna say Goldbrand snorts. D20.
He snorts some whee!
Ooh, 6. Oof.
Oh, that is not good. I need you to roll 4d20 for me.
Oh.
4D.
I'm sorry, not 4d20. I'm not... 4d4, my bad.
I was like, damn, that's a lot of d20s.
I need
sorry,
3 more of those.
Oh, I see. My dice roller changed to be weird. One
One more?
three. Whoa.
That's 2 ones. I need you to roll.
Oh God.
Oh wait, this is for the Uthgar infantry. I need you to roll 2d8.
Damn, Devin.
One more d8.
Oh, sorry, double click.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's on the top part. So a 1 and a 3. You are tearing through this, and now that the orcs are here, the trolls you guys had outnumbered fairly well, and they thinned you guys out a bit. But the surging of the orcs seems almost endless, and as they power through, they begin to overwhelm you. You watch Najal fighting with the dagger that you gave him. Slashing out, lashing out, trying to aim for the neck and take out some of these, fighting with the Uthgar as you have always wanted him to. And in this moment, as he is tearing into one of them, an orc comes up from behind and runs him through the stomach. Najal looks up in a bit of panic before the blade cuts through the side of him and he falls, bleeding out onto the bridge. You also see as Hydia is captured between 3 particular orcs, and she is cleaving into them. She cleaves one down, she elbows another, she goes and she takes her axe and bashes one off of the bridge, but the waves just keep coming, and before long she too is overcome, and a spear is ran through her stomach, as Hydia too falls on the bridge.
Well, damn.
I was really hoping she would make it. That makes me really sad.
Well, I guess we're not killing any
Damn,
more
people
dragons.
just died real easy.
The orcs seem almost endless. For everyone you strike down, it seems like 2 more take their place. But you're getting the feeling that even with all the tribes that you have gathered here, it isn't quite enough. And then, emerging from the forest behind the battlefield, emerging from behind Secumber, racing through the streets, are Cannith and the Grey Wolf tribe, a blur of fur and teeth. And as the werewolves leap over your Uthgarts, they tear into the orc flesh eagerly. Z, roll a d20 plus 2. That's a 19. Excellent. Let me find out where I hid this bitch. Hang on. I've got so many hidden shit on this map. Loop.
There's a lot going on. Bless you, sir.
I do not want to tell y'all how much time I wasted on this map. A 19's excellent. The werewolves clear their way through the orcs. They are ripping out throats, slashing through them, fully surging. And even though these are forces that would normally be unsettling, you have never been more happy to see a fucking werewolf in your
I
life.
look over and think to myself, I kind of feel like transforming as well. But I won't.
I've got this manly urge to just turn into a wolf and rip something's fucking throat out. As the wolves are surging over. Oh, I missed a part. Okay, here we go. The hags are moving toward the ship, beginning to encase it in ice as they try to trap the vessel from escaping. But you hear, with a mighty crack,
Yeah.
as Snapmaw and the crew of the Crimson Inferno emerge from underneath the ice, this enormous dragon turtle appearing, and in unison, the 30 dragonborn above its breath breathe out a plume of flame in every direction. The bay appears as if a bonfire has gone off in it. Ben, roll a d20 for me. I need you to roll 3d4 for me.
Damn, who about to die?
Okay, roll a d6.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed.
Joey in the corner has like this weird chart going on. It's like, I gotta follow the flow chart. Gotta figure out who's gonna die.
It's a little more simplified than that, but yes. You watch as the hags, while this impressive burst of flame sends them scattering and breaks the ice and prevents them from surging over. Which, by the way, as they were crossing this land bridge, the army of skeletons behind them were using the ice bridge to get closer. Many of them were sent into the water as Snapmaw blasts through this. And you see your allies. You see Long Shadow shooting off bouts of acid, Kyrax, a flurry of blades in the middle of this. You see Malrog and Chili doing their best to keep up the fight. And you see Captain Dynamite breathing plumes of flame, striking things down with his trident. And yet you watch as a hag reaches up from behind and lays a single finger on him. And you watch as this burst of necrotic energy bursts through his chest.
Not
And
Captain Dynamite.
Oh no!
Captain Dynamite
No!
collapses.
Damn.
I'm done with this stupid game. God.
He's on the line. Falling so slow.
While Snapmaw has shattered this bridge and sent dozens of these skeletons into the water, they are beginning to emerge from the west bank in droves. And as this wave of bone comes in, it starts to go for the bards on the shoreline. Davos, roll a d20 for me. $17, excellent. Thankfully for you, skeletons are a little susceptible to thunder damage and bludgeoning, and Tiffany, your fucking thunderous drummer, is going fucking ham. And it is a myriad of magic coming off of this. Not only is Timpani blasting out with thunderous force in her drums, Freda is playing on her harp, causing a blizzard to blast out. Capo Quick Claw is sending arcs of lightning. You see as Medley causes a gale to blast back the forces and keep them from getting onto the shore. Even Orin, who has not really any magical powers, is going around with his fucking lute just smacking shit like as hard as he can. They're doing fairly well. Better than most of your troops, actually, with the 17. As these skeletons are swarming them, they begin to overwhelm the bards. There are only 6 of them, plus a keek, for the record. As they are being swarmed by this force, Bergen and the Order of the Gauntlet, who had mostly been tending to the injured and trying to heal the armies that have made it back, they turn their attention to the undead army that is dredging themselves from the riverbed. We'll say, as another holy boy, Davos, roll a d20 for me. Wow, you didn't waste any time, Barbara. You're like, all right, succession plan.
I'm on it.
Excellent. Hang on one second. I think that passes with what you get to add to it. Oh, actually, I need you to roll 2d4 for me.
Oh, fuck. Who else is gonna die?
Can he
Shit.
do some sort of badassery? Or
I'm sick of this.
You know, technically, I was going to give him the opportunity. So yeah, as Bergen, I'll even narrate it for him. As Bergen comes in to this this battlefield swarming with undead, he clutches onto his gauntlet tightly. And at first, frost begins to build up, and he fights to repress it. And as he does, the obsidian on the back begins to shoot out this blinding light. As Bergen turns undead and begins to charge through this battlefield, skeletons crumbling at his mere presence. Roll another time with... Okay, that's much better. You don't even have to roll the d4, so you're good there. Okay, Bergen and his troops managed to plow their way through the battlefield, clearing out a good chunk of these skeletons. Now, the Uthgar infantry and werewolves are making easy work of the orcs. However, you are being rained on by the catapult fire and the ogres slinging these goblins over towards you. It's taking its toll. But the enemy is at the back lines. They're too far away. You can't get to them without drawing the ire of all of your other enemies. When suddenly, as I scroll on the wrong page, in the upper right, for those of you who want to go and, for those of you keeping up at home, you watch as Turlang, the trance that you met at Shadowtop Cathedral, centuries old, emerges from the flaming tree line, literally parts of him ablaze. You see Thara on his shoulder, 12 Trents at his side. Beside them you see Mira and Tyree, and the Elk and Ghost Tree tribes, as they surge through, trying to defend their home from this incinerating force. Let's say, Ben, roll a d20 for me. 17, excellent. They come through with a thunderous force. The Trents immediately begin setting upon the catapults, crashing into them and crumbling them. You even see Liverloss, the crazy old Liverloss, that tall-ass tree motherfucker, come through with, like, just smacking into shit, living his best life and taking care of these catapults for you. And they tear through them rather well, managing to do a very hefty chunk of damage to them. As this is happening, Z, you and the casters are laying down suppressing fire, a myriad of powerful attacks. And not even just attacks, you're also empowering your allies, trying to debuff your enemies, weaving shields to protect the people on this side of the river from the projectiles that are flying around. And for the most part, the strategy seems to be working. But as the bridge, this choke point, is preventing the masses from overwhelming you guys, you still feel your gut sink as a burst of flame from behind you reveals a massive 9-headed beast. Anybody tell me why this song is on here? Whoops.
Oh my god.
Tell me
Elena!
why it's on there? Yeah.
Later.
This is a mob. Next.
Parentheses, so long and good night.
You watch as this Hydra, this Pyro Hydra, rises up from the from the high forest on your bank of the river and is incinerating everything, causing a fire at your back line, and indeed causing many of your troops to panic. Tabitha is at your side and looks to you and goes, "Our priority has changed. Do you trust me?"
With everything I have, let's do it.
You both race off through your armies, through the R&D Rangers, who are now scrambling for cover. The cavalry at your side is struggling to keep up with their panicking mounts. And as you draw some 50 feet away from this monstrous creature, Tabitha looks at you with a grin and goes, "Z, I have to tell you, you're a lot more than the sum of your parts, but I could really use those parts right now." Her hands glow a faint white as she plunges them within your chest. And as she pulls them out, you see these small, colorful orbs that drift about, and they begin to manifest, corporeal forms. Despite them not being within you, you still feel the empowered connection that you share with all of these. You see a dozen fiery specters of your family. You see Florence with her black-toothed grin. The Jorn, this hulking, three-legged, three-armed elemental with a maw of sharp teeth. The spirit of the wind in its devilish whirl. The spirit of the wolf with its uncomfortably long and wicked claws and fangs. The mummy lord whirling about with sand and shadows. And then you and Tabitha, who gives you a half-hearted smile as you both charge toward this thing. Roll a d20, and if you tell me how you're a badass about it, you get to do advantage.
Dan, so is that like second or third base she got?
Exactly. I'm badass about it.
Best thing, that's pretty high.
And that I literally just
Before
turned
it's down,
into
baby.
a spirit hand grenade and exploded a bunch of elementals all around me in a whirl, right? And so as they're blowing out, I look at them and I just sort of smile and I look at Tabitha and I'm like, I feel like you saw this coming all along, but I'm excited to be here with you now. And then we charge.
Oh, fantastic. Roll with
We're all
advantage.
holding hands.
I'll
and
take
then
the advantage. Thank you.
19, fantastic. No, yeah, you guys charge in, and this Pyro Hydra is spewing flame all around, but you watch as your kinsmen, the Fire Ganassi, begin to quell the fire, begin to draw it out, begin to suffocate it, to where the forest is not catching and threatening your troops. You watch as this lake beside the Hydra, Florence dives into it and rises like a tidal wave and crashes into it. The Jorn binds its legs and keeps it down. The Spirit of the Wind blows it back, and then you and Tabitha come up, and with your combined spellcraft, no, you don't decapitate it. You cleave it right down the middle from head to tail. And as it splits and falls open and its blood actually boils and causes other things to ignite around it, you have dealt with your with the Pyro Hydra. As this is going, the ogres are getting too close with their catapults. They're beginning to reach all of you on the far side of the river, and you're growing a little anxious, trying to figure out exactly how to stop this suppressing fire. And Goldbrand, you actually see 3 pterosaurs fly overhead, and as they fly overhead, they turn into humans. And as they descend, they turn into 3 different shapes.
Oh, it's his dinosaur girlfriend.
I'd say you gotta specify, because Goldbrand's got a few.
Oh.
You guys watch as one of them turns into this red-skinned Triceratops and begins charging its way through. You watch as another turns into a massive Dreadmaw, aka a T-Rex. And then the final one, which you just barely can make out, is Ta'asik. As he gets right above them, he explodes into a massive creature. A Brontosaurus, the Thunder Beast, slams down onto all these ogres, tail whipping, head swirling about, knocking all these ogres back. The Triceratops skewering them, the T-Rex biting into them. Devin, roll a d20 for me. Oh no!
Well, since you have a wonderful badass dinosaur description, is that advantage?
Devin, I need you to roll 9d4.
Let's see. Goldbrand just losing all the people that he might vaguely care about.
I was about to say, he just lost his wife. I gotta think that Bergen's over there, like, pulling out his prayer beads or
Yeah, I
something.
was gonna ask if Cobra had
Rare
a
bead,
had a
Even
chance to.
goddamn green,
healing
you
spirit.
somehow you did not roll a single one out of all 9 of those. Do you know what the fucking odds on that are? That's incredible.
Probably
Wow.
lower
Technically
than rolling
the
a
same
nat
as-
1.
Technically the same as rolling all the other numbers? Question mark.
Well, yeah, but look, you rolled 5 4s, but you didn't roll a single 1 out of 9. You had a 25% chance for any of those to be a 1, and yet none of them are. The odds of that are pretty fucking low. While they are taking a heavy beating, none of them seem to go all the way down. The Thunder Beast stomps about, the Triceratops and the T-Rex begin tearing their way through these bulkier units that make up the back line of defense for this army. We go back to the Uthgar on the bridge, and you guys are beginning to wear down. Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to move that. As you see these horrifying creatures, some of them are mounds of flesh that have multiple mouths. Some of them are large purplish entities with long hooked fingers that begin to make their way forward. It seems like very spoopy fey bullshit. I will give you a choice in this moment because you've already lost a couple. You can try to attack them again, or you can try to retreat and let the next force deal with it.
You know that Uthgar don't retreat.
Uthgar, don't roll a d20 for me. In fact, because you're choosing to stand up, roll another d20 for me.
1d20, 2d20s.
So you're rolling with advantage, so you get to roll one more.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah!
Right. As the aberrations begin to claw their way forward and make their way through you, your troops are noticeably shaken. This is not something that they are accustomed to fighting. This is something from realms beyond, from hells beyond, that is deeply striking fear into the heart of your people. Thankfully, your banner prevents your people from being frightened, and they steel themselves just that extra little bit. And you are tearing your way through, and you see one of these fleshy mobs begin to approach Hydia, and it looks as if it's going to roll over her and consume her. And you feel your blood boil from within as you rush forward and cleave into it. You scoop up Hydia's body in your arms, and you and the Uthgar begin to pull back a bit as the cavalry begin to charge in. Captain Phillips and Zi Liang are both making their way onto the battlefield. I'm sorry, there's so much going on. I'm trying to move things off as they don't become relevant anymore, but that's a lot of people. Give me 1 second. Bloop. Bloop. There we go. Okay. They'll go up here. Fantastic. As the cavalry charge forward, this was going to be Bergen, but let's say, Barb, we haven't had you roll anything in a second. Roll a d20 for me.
God. Okay, I'm restarting my computer, but I've got D&D Beyond on my phone, so I can roll, I think, there.
I believe in you.
Oh. What we got? Oh, fuck, a 2.
I don't see anything on my screen.
I'm having to roll in D&D Beyond.
Yeah, on the
Oh,
app it won't. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Does that so that is a 2?
Yeah, that's a 2.
You can see
That's
the
not
chat
fortunate.
there.
Do me a favor, roll 8d4.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Just tell us how many ones.
I was trying to see if there was a way to roll a whole bunch at once.
If you hover over the dice, it should let you. If you need us to do that since you're on mobile, we can do that.
Nope, I got it. There's 2 of them.
You're gonna have to tell us.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't see him, dog.
Alright, hold on. I'll see what it's rolling. Let's see. How many did I need to roll?
I just saw a suppressing fire gif. Who did that? Excellent, Barbara. 5 out of 5.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Hold on. How many am I rolling total?
8?
8.
Was it
Yes,
8?
sir.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I got it to maybe roll. That's a whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch of them, she says.
A whole bunch of them. Let's see what I have to pull up the little chat log, and it'll show me what I
I'm
rolled.
trying to do the same thing. I see at least one of them's a 1. 1. Okay, so I see 2 1s. Barbara, roll 2d4 for me. Or actually, I'll do it for you to save you the trouble.
No, I can do it. I'm a big girl.
Yeah, you do it. You do it.
I
You do
can
it.
kill all these people on my own.
You do it. A 2 and a 3?
Yep.
Okay, you guys watch as this cavalry surges forward, going up against this monstrous aberrations that seem deeply unsettling. The Helm's-Hoof cavalry, empowered by the divine guidance of Helm, is tearing through them, slashing, trying to make their way across the bridge and into enemy territory. But as they do, one of these massive flesh mounds actually latches onto Ji Liang, your ally from Goldenfields, and rips her from her horse, and she is set upon by dozens of these enemies and ripped to shreds. It is a gruesome, gruesome death.
Here I go killing again.
The cavalry does manage to finish off the rest of the aberrations as they surge their way through. And yet, as things are starting to look good, you see Sorrow, the orange-skinned tiefling, raise her hands, and black magic start to rise from her fingers as hundreds of the enemies that you have already slain begin to weakly rise up and trudge forward. They launch a counterattack on the cavalry. Let's say, Davos, roll a d20 for me. Of these days. Roll 3d4.
It's Davos's turn to kill people.
I knew. Oh yeah, that's two of them.
Oh god.
Roll 2d4. Okay.
All right, Davos killing.
As these zombies, these skeletons, these unimaginable terrors begin to rise up, the horses are scared and trying to flee. They're trying to get back across the bridge. As they do, they're rearing up on their backs, and Captain Phillips actually falls from the back of his horse and immediately is set upon by several of these zombies who begin tearing into him. It is very hard to watch. Bergen sees this, and he feels the dread, the guilt that we all know Bergen would feel. And as this sets in his stomach, he and the other knights of the Order of the Gauntlet begin to try to charge forward, begin to try to meet this force. And as they come on, again, banishing the undead. Since he's not here, Devin, roll a d20 for me. Barbara, you know this one?
Demons are a girl's best friend.
Yeah. It's funny, I use the music Discord chat to pull a couple of songs. I'm like, let's see what everybody's into. Get a feel for it. With an 11 plus the 3 he gets to add for it, as Bergen and this force comes forward, they're making fairly short work of these undead. This is what these clerics are trained to do. They are blasting them off in waves. And yet it seems that for everyone they strike down, there's just more and more and more. You guys watch as a spellcaster beside Bane, this dark hooded figure, raises its hand and swirls a circle, and almost Doctor Strange style, a portal opens up, and an enormous iron bull charges through, green gas pouring out of its nose as it charges through Bergen and the oncoming Order of the Gauntlet. I wish Spencer were here for this. In fact, I think we're going to say we will pick up with Spencer next week on that. I will tell you guys why. We only have a few more, and I'm very tempted to go through it, but I'm going to give Bergen the option to either roll against them with advantage, or do a regular roll, but pick up Captain Phillips with a heal. Since
we all know what he's going to do.
I feel like it, but I don't want to make that call for him. There's only like 3 more things, though.
You call Spencer now. Here at
you don't
like
think
10
Z would have
a.m.
counterspelled
We're like,
that? Come on, what are we doing?
Z's also way back there with the Hydra. You're way out of the way, my dude.
Hydra my counterspell.
Hydra kids, Hydra wife, more like. That bitch is done.
Get him out of here.
You know what? I will go ahead and call it. I will say he'll do a flat roll. And try to pick up. He does a quick not a lay on hands, a quick cure wounds on Captain Phillips, who is brought back from the brink of death. And I need, let's say, Z, roll a d20 for Spencer for me. Excellent. As this bull comes charging through, Spencer lays on hands, Captain Phillips pulls him to his feet, and they begin to try to repel the beast, but it is charging through them. They are hurling spells and projectiles at it. It's not seeming to have much of an effect as the creature turns around and charges back across them. I need Bergen to make a Constitution save, Devin.
Oh boy, a Constitution save, you say? Oh, no way.
Take my constitution.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, fuck! I should have had this this sheet up.
Way to be prepared, Joe.
Bring the end. Whoa.
Talking ball?
Woo! Okay, he passes this one. Roll another d20 for me, Devin.
This one, a D20.
Mm,
Can I start rolling it up? No more rolling for Devin?
no. We're almost toward the end anyway. As the beast comes back through, it gores a couple more of the soldiers of Helm, of the Order of the Gauntlet. And as it does, it just once more lets out this huge exuding breath. Roll another Constitution save.
No.
For Bergen, I mean.
Bergen leaves. Bergen runs away. Oh, no.
You watch as this green breath washes over Bergen, and he begins to seize up and petrify, his skin turning to stone. As Bergen is now strength. You see as several other of these soldiers have this are also petrified in this blast, and as this is going on, Davos, you and the knights of the Order of the Aster see this happening. See your rival faith being assaulted and surrounded, and know that if no one acts, they will go down. Davos, I imagine you don't even hesitate. It's not even an afterthought. Your
Right.
forces surge forward. Roll a d20 with advantage for me. 14 plus 3. Okay. As your soldiers clash into this beast, y'all, most of you, while the group that went in was paladins and clerics, most of you are paladins proper. Full armor, shields, helms, swords. You guys managed to surround around the beast and blast it with spell after spell after spell after spell until it, with a mighty heave, collapses and cracks open. You rush over to Bergen, see him petrified beyond the traditional heal that you can do. But you think
Even
there's
a
something you
greater
can do.
restoration?
Greater restoration. As you reach out to Bergen, you're reminded of a couple of things. You recall the long rivalry between Helm and Lathander, this bitter entanglement that has had your ancestors and your organizations at odds for eons. The fact that, from the perspective of the Helmites, that Lathander let Helm's love die. He was directly responsible for the events that led to her death. Whereas, and this has always been something that has been a schism within the faiths. Even though y'all both have similar goals, it was the dividing factor. And in this moment, you reach out and restore a member of Helm's true faith, his chosen warrior. And it's Lathander's chosen warrior who's doing it. And in this moment, you feel a sense of atonement, that this is repaying a generations-long debt to Helm. And as you do that, Bergen's flesh returns once more. You grip him onto the arm, throw him onto the back of Spot, and you two begin to book it out of there as the final forces are struggling all across the battlefield. Lords 9, Lord 6 in this instance, you all find yourselves converging in this central area as Bane and her final forces stand there, ready to face you on. We're going to call it a night there. When we pick this up, you guys will begin your bitter entanglement with the Battle of Bane. Thank you very much for coming today. Had a blast, even though I killed like half of your loved ones. I will say this.
Button block? Like, if I had
Oh yeah,
this
yeah.
round?
If the way it would work is when I asked you to roll a number, if you rolled under a 10, however many under 10 you were, you had to roll a d4. And for every one on that, you had to roll a certain dice for that unit. All of them had somebody very critical in that one slot. Your dad was the one for you, Devin. Hydia was the one for you, Devin. Tabitha was the one for you. Avalon was the one for you. Captain Dynamite was the one for Ark. And so it is... anyone at this fight could have died. Well, that's not true. 95% of the people here could have died in that. It was all a roll of the dice. But with that, we're going to pick up with this.
Damn.
We're going to pick up with this fight next week. I love you guys very much. My heart is pumping. I hope
Doesn't
yours
feel
is
like
too.
You love us very much, Joey. God.
I have to rip your heart out. And it's D&D. Some people might be gone forever. You might be able to heal a couple. We'll see. You've already got Captain Phillips back, so there's a +1 for you. You're welcome. That wasn't in my notes. That was me being a merciful DM. You're welcome, Barbara.
Man, you really hate Goldbrand's wife then.
Yeah.
Good lord.
I mean, I
Bro.
want Goldbrand. Goldbrand's gonna go get her. He can learn that spell eventually. Maybe
I
not
thought-
the scope of
didn't
this
he,
campaign, but
Didn't he pick her up already?
he's
I know
got her
she's
body.
dead,
if
but
if
yeah.
she dies, like that's a great like after campaign quest for Goldbrand. Goes on a what's the thing in Critical Role called where she goes out.
Not a pilgrimage. Not an Aramente, but that's what Keyleth does.
Yeah, well, something like that. He goes out and learns how to cast that spell, comes back.
Honestly,
bam.
this is the first time Goldbrand's cared about anybody that I've physically seen, so I'm like, oh, that's important.
Yeah. And then didn't his son die too? Fucking blueberries.
And he was just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Najal died. I'm trying to remember. Captain Dynamite died. Najal died.
Died.
wait,
Hydia died.
didn't Gideon die?
Hydia died.
Gideon.
No, not
Is it
Gideon.
Gideon or
Gideon got snatched by a chain early on.
Yeah.
You don't actually have a visual on him. Well, actually, as you guys are converging, you see that the Chain Devil does have him skewered, still breathing, but like struggling against it within the central battlefield.
That's okay. Goldbrand has a whole bunch of kids. It's fine.
You're right. He got more.
Can't make more without Hydia, though.
That's not true at all. Half his kids are from India. Count Thulin died. There was a chance that the Westwind Wyvern would have crashed.
Oh, shit.
Like, there was a lot of very terrible things that could have happened. I will even tell you, for the ones where you guys were in the battalion, if you rolled the highest number on the die, you would have lost a quarter of your HP going into this next fight.
Oh, shit.
I will message you guys about some stuff I need you to mark off, some spell slots, some abilities, some stuff like that. But I will tell you this, through your great effort in overcoming all the odds in this fight thus far and making it this far, all of you do advance to level 13. So y'all get a nice little pump of energy right before you guys do this.
Right before you die.
Right before you die, yeah. But what better number to die on than Lucky 13?
Oh, you asshole.
Yay.
With that, my dudes, for the final time, good night. Love yourselves and one another. And is it time for D&D yet?
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Uh,
The